All right, I think we are live for this thing to show. Yeah. Let's wait till everything shows up. All right. Make sure everything else all good. Dun 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 dun. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Everybody, get on in here. And off. Welcome back, people. Get on in here. Get on in here, everybody. How's it going, guys? What's going on, Michael outside the box? What's going on, Theo? Yes, quarter zip. I'm rocking it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, I'm really digging the quarter zip. It's very nice quality. The springtime can't go wrong, right? You know, they're not going to be in stock forever, guys. So support Nick. Get your merch, bro. Get your merch from Nick. It does look nice. I'm gonna get more merch from Nick. The Wang Af hoodie, that kind of stuff, you know. Get some hats. I'm not a real hat guy, I gotta be honest. Protein shake. Sell vitamins like Alex Jones. I kind of rate that Alex has so many ads for like vitamins and stuff like that, like Freedom vitamins. Isn't that great? I love Alex Jones, man. I grew up with Alex Jones, the Bohemian Grove stuff. Man, that was some early internet stuff. Blue math. Drew Heisenberg. Yeah, I mean, the Bohemian Grove stuff, man, that was early for me. I remember seeing those videos probably when I was like 9 or 10 years old. Sure goes perfectly with my Charles Manson forehead tattoo. Oh, good lord. Charles Manson, dude. So how are you guys doing today? We having a good Sunday morning? Everyone's doing good. Trump got what he wanted. Netanyahu got what he wanted. Yep. They're both on the verge of going to jail. Yes, they share that in common. Like, yeah, that's a thing. I guess not a lot of people have been pointing it out. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. They do have that in common, right? Is that they're both on the verge of going to jail, right? Netanyahu with his corruption trial, um, Donald Trump when the Dems get back in, right? It's kind of over. It's really over for either of them if they screw this one up, right? Glory days, yeah. Yeah, so we're going to get into it in a minute. Let everyone filter on in here. Everyone get their coffee. We're screwed either way. Yes. Yeah, it does. It's not looking good, you know. I um I think the way this war is going, with like Iran getting completely pummeled, the new order of the world is being completely shaken up. Yeah, have a good day, dude. Everyone get to work. I'm wondering, are you wondering if you're wondering if Iranian exiles are having second thoughts about this whole war? Yeah, it's looking pretty bloody. We're gonna get into it soon. We've got a bunch of stuff we're gonna look at. Of course, there's a whole bunch of news to get into. But yeah, man, a lot of these monarchists, that is the cringiest stuff I've ever seen in my life. People waving the monarchist flag. It's like the number one top selling on Amazon under lawn in patio is literally like the old Shaw flag. It's pretty crazy. That they're like literally next to the Israeli flag too. They're selling them like crazy. So whoever is making money off of that is, you know, they're making big bands. So we're gonna get into it. I think we're good to start recording. I gotta get another monitor off to the side here. Still got the big TV off to the side here. Alright, we are going to get into it, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Blasphemer Reacts. It's your boy, and we are here talking about the news. What is going on today? Well, lots. We're going to get into it. At the top of the hour, New York Times has been reporting, and a lot of other places, RT is reporting, that Iran is very close to naming its new supreme leader. So we hear at the New York Times, Iranian state media reported that top clerics were finalizing their decision on a successor to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Israel and Iran appeared to be ramping up attacks on infrastructure targets. As you can see here, we're going to be getting into this. It's looking quite apocalyptic over there in Iran right now. Here are some of the videos that have been circulating. It's they attacked. So what happened was Israel attacked a fuel depot, and this has blotted out the sky in Iran. So it's looking like quite the environmental disaster. The air in the city is completely toxic, full of fumes. This is the morning in Tehran. As you can see here, the skyline is completely black, billowing with smoke. Here are some Israeli first responders next to debris of an Iranian missile. Destroyed houses that were hit by Israeli airstrikes in Sir al-Gharbihah. I'm definitely butchering that. In a village, southern Lebanon. So, big news as well on the northern front is that Israel is launching a full-on ground invasion of Lebanon. So this is expected that sometime today that it will pop off, but they are amassing a large military presence. So Donald Trump and J.D. Vance today greeted 6 American service members who were dead as they were killed in Kuwait by a Iranian ballistic missile. Here you can see a picture of their bodies being unloaded at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. The president and the vice president saluting along with the Secretary of Defense. I think you can see him over here. Here we have a demonstration by healthcare workers. Yep, so a hospital was struck. We're going to get into the Minab strike. That is another breaking story here. He's donating blood. No blood on YouTube. We're not allowed that. So yeah, we're going to get into it. This is what the New York Times is saying. It's not looking good. Little hats, big problems. Definitely. Definitely. This is definitely a Jewish war. Literally launched on a Jewish holiday. I mean, the whole war, it's like literally the Jews' enemies, the Persians, on a Jewish holiday, the Jewish army from the Jewish nation state. So, try not to say it too much on YouTube where they censor us, you know. But let's get into it. Fuel depots near Iran's capital, Tehran, were engulfed in flames early Sunday morning after U.S. and Israeli forces expanded their attacks, while Iran tried to project stability by announcing that top clerics were finalizing their decision for a new supreme leader. More than a week into the war, there was no sign of an off-ramp for the fighting. Instead, both sides were intensifying attacks on critical infrastructure, potentially impacting millions of people across the Middle East. And Iran rejected out of hand President Trump's demand for unconditional surrender, with a top leader vowing to avenge the Ayatollah's death. Iranian state media announced on Sunday that the country's top clerics were close to naming a successor to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the ruler killed in the opening blow of the U.S.-Israel war with Iran last weekend. The channel did not say who the new leader might be, possibly a reflection of Iran's vulnerability, since Israel has threatened to kill whoever takes over. So, this is highly indicative that this is not going to be like a Venezuela type of situation, regime change, and it seems like the Iranian government is full on in resisting regime change, but that is what Donald Trump wants. It looks like a ground invasion is coming ever nearer. We have Kurds amassing on the border. They are said to have already crossed, some of them have crossed the border into Iran. There doesn't seem to be another way that you can actually take out this structure, this leadership here, without having ground forces. This is an insanely entrenched state here. So, did PP Netanyahu at least say thanks to those dead soldiers? I mean, no, he obviously, you know, they don't even look at us like people. You know, I saw there was some F-15s that got shot down. It was like friendly fire. I think you guys all saw that. But some American fighter jets got shot down on Israeli TV. They were saying, "Oh, thank God it's not Israelis. Oh, you know, heaven forbid that they were to be Israelis." So we continue. The skies over Tehran turned orange overnight. Oil fires blazing on the horizon, and by morning, dense oily clouds had settled over the capital, according to residents in video. With the fire, it felt like night became day. And then, with all the smoke, the day turned back into night, said Arion, 33, a Tehran resident who requested anonymity to to avoid possible retribution by the Iranian authorities. Israel's military said it had targeted the fuel depots because they were being used by Iran's military. In an address on Saturday night, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, said Israel had many more targets in Iran, part of an effort to destabilize the Islamic Republic's rule. U.S. forces also intensified strikes against military targets, including Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, air defenses and missiles, a senior U.S. military official said on Saturday. So, I mean, I think we can all tell here that there is only escalation here, all right? There only seems to be a ramping up of strikes. There is no off-ramp for Donald Trump here. Like, you have to understand that he is going full in. Anyone can make a email document, fake that name, you read it, investigating something, LOL. Yeah, the Epstein files, bro, like, we don't believe, like, I do not believe, like, half of what these people believe, alright? Alright. Let's just say, if you think this is a war because of Jeffrey Epstein, like, we're just not on the same side, alright? If you think that, like, Epstein blackmail caused this war, I'm sorry, but you need to start using your head. Donald Trump chose, alright, to go to war. Anyone that's making excuses for Donald Trump at this point, because that's what it is. If you're making excuses for him, he made the adult decision to wage a war. And he was convinced. You don't have to have blackmail on everybody all the time. So let's continue. Iran retaliated by firing barrages of missiles and drones across the Persian Gulf and Israel, some of which hit civilian infrastructure. In Bahrain, the authorities announced that a desalination plant had been damaged in an Iranian attack. The Gulf countries depend on almost entirely on desalination for drinking water. Kuwait's defense ministry reported a wave of drones that damaged fuel storage tanks at Kuwait's international airport. And 2 border guards were killed in the country, raising the death toll in the Gulf to at least 14. Mr. Trump's plans for the next phase of the war remained unclear as the administration shifted its position. On Saturday, Mr. Trump told reporters on Air Force One that he had ruled out involving Kurdish forces as it would make the conflict more complex. 2 days ago, he said he was all in on a Kurdish offensive in Iran. Do you see how this switches on a dime? Like, I'm fully convinced here that there is zero plan going on at the top. I think we can all suss that out. I think we all can see that yes, there is the generals and the people that are actually lobbing munitions downrange. They can figure out where the shots need to go, okay? We understand that. It's the U.S. military. They're, like, best in the world, okay? But it doesn't seem like the people that are actually launched this war, the politicians, where is the actual game plan here? We've changed the goalpost many times here. You know, we want Iran to capitulate. Now it's regime change, and now there's basically no off-ramps. We're going to have the Kurds do this, and now we're not. There does not really seem to be a grand strategy of war here. And, you know, as much as I'm against the war itself, launching the war, if you're going to do it, I think you should, you know, have a full plan. You should go all in. You know, this really seems like this war was launched haphazardly, unprepared. This is going into a war completely unprepared. You know, and we see that they're already moving more and more troops into the region. They're sending another aircraft carrier into the region as we speak. So, you know, what we are seeing is a total escalation. There are no off-ramps. And I was watching, Nick. He was on Sneako's live stream, which you guys should go check out. It's on YouTube, Sneako's channel. But he was on there, and he was saying that he feels like Trump potentially wants to use a nuclear weapon. That he feels that it's not, I don't know, Nick said he gives it about a 10% chance. I don't really know what the possibility of a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon getting used in Iran is. I think it's pretty low. But he made the point that he thinks that Trump wants his legacy to be that he pulled the trigger, he pressed the button, so to speak. That Trump feels the need to have the legacy that he nuked a country. You know, so we're going to get into Trump calling for unconditional surrender. It's very specific language, what that means. So, you know, that language hasn't really been used since, you know, Japan and Germany. Let's finish the rest of this. Mr. Trump also blamed Iran for an airstrike that hit an elementary school in Iran on February 28th, killing scores of children. A New York Times visual investigation indicates that the school was most likely hit by an American airstrike. When asked whether he would reconsider sending ground troops into Iran to secure its nuclear facilities, Mr. Trump said, "At some point, maybe we will." He added, "It would be a great thing, but right now, we're just decimating them." So you're going to have Americans go into Iran, probably with Gulf help, probably with Canadian and some European help. Carney has already said that he's pretty much on board with pledging Canadian military help to fight Iran. We're going to go into, we as the West collectively, we are going to go into Iran to secure their nuclear facilities. So this is what the President of the United States, this is what he's talking about. So let's get into it. Let's get into the actual images of what's going on. What does this fuel depot fire actually look like?
بنزین رو وقتی میزنه میخواد شما مردم اذیت بشید، میخواد کارهای نظامی نیست، بنزین برای مردمه، بنزین برای اینی که ماشین‌های شما، ماشین‌های امدادی و آمبولانس‌های شما راحت در شهر بچرخه. اینجایی که الان زده فاصله خیلی نزدیکی با مکان‌های مسکونی داره، یعنی خیلی محل عبور و مرور مردم و محل اسکان و خونه‌های مردمه. این که میگه من فقط
apocalyptic, I'm not gonna lie.
که در رسانه‌ها دارم به شما میگم. اینجایی که الان زده شده باز تکرار
That's a crazy fire.
اگه نشون بده این ساختمونای مسکونی رو،
it's really nothing but terrorism, right? Yeah, holy smokes is correct. This is like nothing but terrorism on the population, in my opinion. Now, obviously, the Iranian army is using this fuel, but knowing that this was going to be the impact, I know, right? People in Tehran are saying that the air, even like far away from this, the air is just acrid. It's apparently and I believe them. The air in Tehran is just poisonous right now. It's completely toxic. You know, I think this is like straight up an act of like Israeli terrorism. Like that's how I look at a lot of these things. See, RT is reporting that a new Ayatollah has most likely been chosen. Here we have somebody reporting here, living in Tehran. Look at that. Massive smoke, completely blotting out the sky. It's like morning. Yeah, there's a huge fire. Oh my god. This reminds me, like, I wasn't alive back during the Gulf War. Like, I was born in 97. But they did this, didn't, like, Saddam's army, like, lit a bunch of fires, right? And this also happened during, like, the Iran-Iraq war. Yeah. Iran, a civilization thousands of years old, a civilization thousands of years older than the U.S. or Israel, is now a place where oil rains from the sky. The air is toxic and destroys civilian infrastructure. Maybe English isn't her first language. Oil rains from the sky. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Oh my god, check out this. So they have like these drainage they have these like drainage, almost like sewers almost, or just ditches. They go along the roads here, and all the oil, it's all like oil that and gas too, I guess, but I think it's all like heavy crude and stuff like that. It floods like the side of the streets, and now all the gutters of all the streets are full of burning oil lining the streets of Tehran. I mean, this is real, guys. This is not AI. You know, I make sure to check all these clips before we pull them up. This is the real deal. It's you want to know what like you know, the apocalypse, you know, is gonna look like, you know? More refugees for Europe? Absolutely. Absolutely, this is going to be more refugees for Europe, right? Like, I think that, they're, like, the Trump administration, J.D. Vance, Hegseth, all of these people, Rubio, they are making a huge political miscalculation when it comes to the consequences of this war. For instance, also the consequences of the Gaza war when it comes to migration. So obviously, you know, the remaining people in Gaza and eventually the West Bank who are going to be pushed out, you know, they have to go somewhere, right? And a lot of people point out for many decades, well, you know, the Arab countries never take in, you know, any Palestinians, right? They have a closed border policy, you know, they have their own migration border policy, that kind of thing, right? The Palestinians will end up in the West. They will end up in Europe and North America. Iranians will be in Europe and North America. There's already a large diaspora. And it seems to me that the message from the Trump administration is that none of those people will come over here. That we have our closed borders and we don't have to worry about this because we're, you know, the Trump administration, you know, we're the closed border administration, right? Well, not really, because you're heading to destruction in the midterms. 2027, you will get nothing done whatsoever. 2028, you're going to lose the presidency. So the Democrats will have both houses and the presidency of the House, the Senate, and the executive. They're just going to let tens of millions of people in. You think people from Palestine and Iran are not going to be part of that? Obviously. People from Palestine and Iran, you bomb their countries. It's just like Syria. If you wage a war on somebody, then they actually are going to like, they're going to come, right? Like, you bombed their country, and now they need a place to go. They don't have anywhere to go. They're going to come to you, right? You're the one who bombed their country. A literal highway to hell. I mean, that's what it is, right? So the Trump administration thinks that it's a very slick maneuver, that they're going to go, well, we're just not going to let anyone in. There's not going to be any Iranian refugees. There's not going to be any Palestinian refugees coming to the United States, right? Well, you don't really have a choice, actually, because it all depends on your electoral successes, and it is all going to be a disaster, complete disaster for the Republicans. Anyone who is associated with this war whatsoever will be just toxic, completely poisonous. You wouldn't even be able to be around them. So the Democrats will absolutely take advantage of the situation. They will win, and they will let all of these people in, all of the refugees, right? You know, that's their policy, right? Like, that's what Democrats run on, you know? And how can you say that, you know, that we're not going to let anybody in? It's like, well, you just completely obliterated their country, right? No, I think it's a really stupid political calculation. We're creating a horrible humanitarian situation over there in the Middle East in general. To say that none of these people will ever come over here, none of these Muslims, none of these Arabs or Persians will come over here, I think it's incredibly misguided. I think it's looking at none of the history. When we waged a decade and a half long operation to kick Assad out, what ended up happening? Many Syrians came here, right? To Europe, to Canada, to the United States. Well, it's like, yeah, they don't have anywhere else to go. And this is the political, not that I want people, like more and more people, obviously. I don't want more and more people to come here. All right, but this is the political reality that you have to deal with. You know, in 7 days, Iran lost their leader, 40 other leaders died, they lost all their Navy ships, 70% of their air power, half their missiles. Let's see what's next. Well, yeah, that's the reality on the ground for Iran right now, is that they're actually getting completely destroyed. So I'm no simp for the Ayatollah or like the regime or anything like that. And I think like simping for them is some total brown clown shit. Like, that's not anything that, especially, you know, but the problem with that kind of mentality is that it's kind of like a slave mentality where, you know, the war in Iran is just another aspect of the Zog oppression system, right? So the Zionist occupied government over here is what controls us. That is the Jewish control matrix. People in the Middle East are subjugated to the kinetic force, right? I told this, a friend of mine who is, he's from Syria, he's a Christian, and he has a friend, a girl she was in a bus going from Lebanon, from Beirut to Damascus, and the bus in front of her was hit with an Israeli missile, and everyone in that bus in front of her died. So that's like the day-to-day, this is the day-to-day of the people overseas. They're human beings too. They are being oppressed by the same system that the control matrix over here. It's literally the same thing. The fact that, you know, our countries are literally controlled by Jerusalem. It's a major problem when they are literally killing innocent people overseas. So I think all these people that, you know, they want to be, oh, I'm a macho, I don't care about people overseas. Oil prices already very high, and it'll be more expensive. Venezuela, oil is not enough. Yeah, I just don't believe that this is a war for oil, to be honest. Like, I think America has one of the largest oil reserves, naturally occurring oil reserves in the world. We just got Venezuela. Canada is very, very rich in oil. We don't, like Venezuela, we have that. We don't need the oil. Like, that's not what this war is about. You know, they bomb the oil because it terrorizes the civilian population, right? So CNN is reporting thick black clouds and oil-saturated rain are shrouding Iran's capital this morning after major airstrikes hit refineries and storage sites south and west of the city. CNN's Fred Pleitgen reports.
This is what Tehran is waking up to this morning. As you can see, the entire, or almost the entire city, is engulfed in
it looks like the worst storm
clouds.
ever
This comes
approaching is what it looks like.
Major airstrikes on oil facilities in the south of the city and the west of the city. And what's going on right now is that it's actually raining since the early morning hours. I'm going to show you something because the rain that's coming down seems to be saturated or filled with
That's
oil.
so gross, dude. Look at that.
Black.
It's just like dirt. It's like black. Like the rain is literally black. Like that's disgusting. Like this is like what the people over there have to deal with, right? It's like over here we have to deal with like our bank accounts being frozen, or we get banned and censored on like social media and everywhere, or you lose your job, or you know, potentially something like even worse happens to you. Over there, dude, it's like apocalyptic. It's like the city is on fire, people around you are getting bombed, it's literally raining oil. Like it, you know, I don't put it past, you know, like Shia like dudes and like just Muslims in general, like Shia people who are like, yeah, it's the end times right now. Ecological disaster, where are all the tree huggers now? Yeah, I know, right? Like Chuck Schumer, right? A Democrat who wants to force through all this climate change stuff when they get the Democrats in. All that stuff, he supports this war, 100%. He would not criticize this Israeli action whatsoever.
Everything on the ground is black as well. And if you look over here at this wall, you can see that the rainwater coming down here is...
There are more Democrats that are opposed to this war than Republicans, though, so let's keep that in mind. It's the most important thing that matters right now is ending this war. So as many allies as we can have. I don't really care if they're Democrats. You know, Nick says he's voting Democrat. Like, it's the most important thing. We got to put our differences aside. Put our differences aside with Muslims. We don't need to see Muslims be killed for no good reason. If Tehran is covered in oil, doesn't that mean a normal fire could turn into absolute conflagration now? I don't know how that works, but I guess it's probably not. It's probably like diluted enough with all the rainwater. Fox News claims Iranians want the war more than Americans, as if something is wrong with us. Yeah, I mean, every time that they go to report, they're like stand in front of a bunch of pro-monarchy, like crowds. They'll sit out there and be like, "Whoa, I found these Iranians that they really want the war," and it's like, yeah, they'd never lived in Iran. Half of them were born in the West. The other half fled Iran. And this is the little secret that a lot of them never really share, is that when the Shah left, the Shah not only stole a ton of money, but a lot of other people in the government and in his circle stole shitloads of money, tons of money from the federal treasury over there, federal, whatever it was called. But, you know, he's the king, so he fled the country with all the gold. Right? It's a tale as endless as time. But a lot of those people, they came with big money. All right? When the Iranian Revolution happened, they did not come over to the West broke. All right? They took the coffers of the Iranian state with them. All right? They were extremely corrupt. The Iranian chick with sunflower afro after doing is definitely not Mossad.
Is also black. This comes after a night
of sunflower
really heavy
afro
bombardment here in the Iranian capital that also saw thick plumes of smoke over the city after those oil installations were bombarded.
Yeah, I mean, there's like tons of Mossad spies and operatives inside of Iran right now. So it's like you hear about like all protesters being killed, and it's like, no, dude, like they uncovered like literally a spy, somebody who's like acting on like a paramilitary behalf of like Israel or like, you know, Kurdistan. Don't even get me started on the Kurds.
And there were massive fires also, especially in the south of the city. And again, this
like, oh my god, dude, like what are we doing?
There's also, especially in the south of the city. And again, this morning you can see that
it's literally raining oil over there.
Black clouds that cover almost everything.
This is crazy, man. Here we have another visual. It's not looking good, chat. I don't know. I'm getting apocalyptic vibes of like what's been going on. I know I keep saying that, but I don't know. It's looking a little end of the world-y these days, you know? I'm not ready for that third temple. I am not ready, bro. But it seems like a lot of people in the military are. So. And, you know, a lot of people are talking about, you know, Christian evangelicals, you know, and, you know, premillennial, postmillennial theology. Why do, you know, the Christians are the ones, you know, really waging this war. And it's like, well, you have to ask yourself, because that's not Catholic teachings, that's not Orthodoxy teachings. That what that is they're trying to blame white people, they're trying to blame Europeans, and they're trying to blame Christians. When in reality, this dispensationalism, it actually comes from Jewish theology. So this idea, I mean, it's literally co-opting Christianity. It's like fake Christianity. Literally co-opted by Jews to make people think that you got to build the first temple, or the third temple, sorry. You know, get revenge on the Christians for, you know, having the Romans destroy the second temple. I watched the documentary Europa, The Last Battle. It changed me. Remember watch Europa, The Last Battle? You brave enough? No, I never heard about that one. Justice for Germans made the best World War II revisionist documentary. Never saw it. But true. Justice for Germans, though. Germans, like, shouldn't be blamed for the Holocaust like that, you know? It's like, I think they apologized enough, you know? Germans are nice. Every German I've met has been mad cool. Mad chill. This idea that they're, like, stiff people, it's like, just kind of, doesn't make any sense. So we can see here the... government of Iran is not giving up. You can see the government. They're out here in like their armored cars. They're waving their flags. They got their nationalism out here too. Now, I'm not pro-Iranian regime, but you can see, guys, they're still in control. They're still in control, bro. I don't know how you're gonna unseat this regime. You guys talking about war documentaries? I just watched, there's this one on YouTube. I just watched it. I forget what it's called, but this girl just goes to the front line. You remember the name of the documentary we were watching, Luke?
No, they should be in your YouTube.
Yeah, it's probably in my history. I'll just have to look for it. This Russian girl just goes to the front line in Ukraine, with like, she just has like a camera, like a DSLR. She's got a couple mics, and she's Russian, and she just goes to the Russian front line. It's a pretty remarkable documentary. I'll have to pull it up. It's pretty gory though. You know. There was a kind of a cute scene where, like, this medic girl got proposed to by her medic boyfriend. I guess they were, like, a war couple, you know? So, in terms of war movies, you guys got to check out Stalingrad 1993. Yeah, no, like, Stalingrad 1993. Easily one of, like, the best war movies that I've seen. It's very realistic too. I do like Enemy at the Gates a lot. That's a great movie. But yeah, Stalingrad, 1993. It's a fantastic war movie. Definitely check that out. What do we got here? So we will move on to the Minab school attack. So this is a little dark. A little grim, but it's important. We have to cover it because it's a horrible tragedy, seems like. If this was intentional, then it's just beyond words. But so here we are. Ryan Grimm from Breaking Points and other publications. He says, aside from the fact that it is now widely understood and accepted that the U.S. bombed the girls' school in Minab, the claim Iran struck it never made sense, since it happened before Iran even began responding, which is true. So let's hear what Trump has to say.
Mr. President, did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still
But
investigating.
the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions.
So it's really two conflicting things, right? Donald Trump on one hand says, I think it was Iran. Doesn't explain at first. And then they ask the secretary, and it's almost, you can just kind of tell. You can just tell it's a lie. You can tell it's a lie just the way Trump carries himself. The way that they throw it to Hegseth, and Trump doesn't even question that. And Hegseth says, we're still investigating it, right? Well, military investigators, as you know, we'll pull up in a bit, military investigators, U.S. military, they're saying that it seems like the U.S. were the ones who did this strike. So this school near IRGC base. The school is near an IRGC base. The school itself used to be where a base was, so their AI hit it probably thinking it was still a base. They never bother checking. Absolutely right. Yeah, when we're gonna get into the New York Times report about this, it's pretty horrifying. Let's hear that one more time from Trump and Hegseth.
Mr. President, did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran.
And it's like, is that true, Mr. Hegseth? Well, let's be real. Pete knows that the Democrats are going to be in power eventually. The long game here is ambiguity, right? Ultimately, this is a grave mistake. Like, I don't think the U.S. military, I don't think anyone in the U.S. military is looking to bomb, like, school children intentionally, obviously. That's like an opinion you might get from, like, Hassan Piker or something, but I think that's just silly. The reality here is exactly what NGCS pointed out here, that when we get into the New York Times investigation here, this is very clear that this was not an Iranian munition that went off course. This was happening long before Iran was starting retaliation. So this is the New York Times visual investigations. Analysis suggests school was hit amid U.S. strikes on Iranian naval base. The February 28th school strike in Minab, which killed dozens, including children, appears to have been part of an attack on an adjacent naval base in southern Iran, where officials said U.S. forces were operating. So as you can see here, this is the before and after. So what we'll learn here is that this IRGC compound and these IRGC buildings had not been in use for 10 years. Over 10 years. Some are saying 11 years. If they were going off intel from 10 years ago to drop 2,000-pound bombs, multiple of them, this is gravely concerning. I mean, yeah, war criminals for sure. It's definitely some war criminal tier shit. It's truly, it makes you so disgusting when you hear the screams of the mothers. I mean, 175 people. So you can see it's just wiped out. It's wiped off the face of the planet. All the buildings here targeted in the same manner. Now look at that and tell me that that was caused by Iranian munitions falling out of the sky. Like, look at those before and after pictures, and just from a common sense, you can just tell these are precision strikes, right? The buildings are obliterated. Oh, nothing else but the buildings have been targeted. This is clearly very precision, precision strike. This is not the result. Exactly, it's far too big and it's far too precise. Look at the places that were hit. It's very precise. This is just not. And so, what is being claimed by the Iranian state now? The Iranians are saying, the government is saying that they have in possession physical proof, evidence from the bombs themselves that this was in fact a U.S. munition. So whether it's dropped by a U.S. or Israeli plane, it seems like it was during a U.S. operation, though. The fact of the matter here is that General Kane, Raisin Kane, as he's been called, he confirmed that there were strikes in Minab. All right, because there is in fact a large IRGC naval base here. So he even pointed with his laser pointer to a map in southeast. I guess it would be southwest. I guess it would be southwest. Southwest Iran. He pointed. He said we did strikes in Minab. Right, so they already admitted. All right, the general already admitted that, yeah, we blew it up. Pretty much already admitted. Who else is going to do this? I don't know. You'd have to be honestly kind of insane to think that Iran did this to themselves. That's my opinion. And yeah, it's far too big. It's far too big to be a Iranian missile that went off course and they mistakenly killed their own people. It's just ridiculous, to be honest. The article says, the February 28th strike that hit an elementary school in the southern Iranian town of Minab is the deadliest known episode of civilian casualties since the United States and Israel attacked Iran. And no side has yet taken responsibility. But a body of evidence assembled by the New York Times, including newly released satellite imagery, social media posts, and verified videos, indicates the school building was severely damaged by a precision strike that occurred at the same time as attacks on an adjacent naval base operated by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. And official statements that U.S. forces were attacking naval targets near the Strait of Hormuz, where the IRGC base is located, suggests that they are most likely to have carried out the strike. Of course, right? The White House referred the Times to remarks by the press secretary Caroline Leavitt at a news conference on Wednesday. When asked if the United States had conducted the airstrike on the school, she responded, not that we know of, adding that the Department of War is investigating the matter. Determining precisely what happened had been impeded by the lack of visible weapon fragments and the inability of outside reporters to reach the scene. The total death toll has yet to be independently confirmed, but Iranian health officials and state media said the strike had killed at least 175 people, many of them children, at the Shah Jarrah Tayyibeh elementary school. And here you can see some more zoomed in before and after photos. So clearly what happened here is a very precise strike. There's no way around that. In the several days since the attack, U.S. officials have neither confirmed nor denied responsibility. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said on Wednesday that an investigation was underway. Nadav Shoshani, an Israeli military spokesman, told reporters on Sunday that as of now, he was not aware of any Israeli military operation in that area at the time. U.S. officials in public statements have indicated that on the day in question, U.S. planes were conducting operations in the region where the school was located. Here you can see the mass graves at a cemetery. Excavators and workmen dug close to 100 graves at a cemetery in Minab, Iran, before the funeral for children and teachers killed in an airstrike on a school on February 28th. You'd see rows of of graves. Extremely grim. Isn't it just so sick that at the very outset of the war, you're already just slaughtering literally a school full of kids? Like, think about it like the outrage of if a school full of kids in America was blown up. Like, just think about that for a second. What you would feel. You know, and yet this is the opening shots of the war. The elementary school is in the small southern town of Minab, more than 600 miles from Iran, but near the critical waterway of the Strait of Hormuz. Since Saturday is the start of the Iranian work week, children and teachers were in the class at the time of the strike, health officials in Iranian state media said. The strikes were first reported on social media shortly after 11:30 a.m. local time. An analysis of those posts, as well as bystander photos and videos captured within an hour of the strikes, helps corroborate that the school was hit at the same time as the naval base. One video, pinpointed by geolocation experts, showed several large plumes of smoke billowing from the area of the base and the school. Have some audio. Oh, I'm gonna turn off my heater. Oh, it's getting hot in here. So yeah, as you can see, massive military base, IRGC naval base, got hit at the exact same time, right? So it's no surprise that this was the United States carried this out. Images showing extensive damage to the school buildings were shared by an Iranian rights group soon after, and videos posted by Iranian media and independently verified by The Times showed throngs of people searching through rubble for survivors and victims. Here we go. This is the aftermath. Classroom. And, you know, so we had to launch this war, right? Like, just listen to this. And people have to see this. This is not something you can turn your eyes away from, you know? Or your ears. This is the reality on the ground. Parents searching through rubble. You know? This, at the end of the day, this is like the end product of all of the, like, Zog everything, dude. It's just mass murder. Horrible. I swear, if this doesn't enrage you, like, do you even have a soul? I feel like if you don't feel sympathy, I think you're probably going to hell, right? Like, as a Christian, like, I don't hold anything against, people of other faiths, but, the noticer, I personally am the most racist person in the world. You know, I think this is wrong. So true, dude. The noticer, base noticer. No, I'm not really super racist. I'm just race realistic. Yeah, and I mean, these are human beings too. I'm a Christian. I believe all people are created in the image of God. How can you not feel for this? I feel like if you don't, even if you're a pagan, you know, I talked to some pagans, some European pagans, our brethren. You know, some of my friends, IRL, are pagan. Just cool. You know, they're still on our side, bro. They're still white. You know, they're still European. It's sad for what happened to these children, but Ryan Grimm is a far-left journalist. He also supports Mamdani, so don't take anything he says seriously without actual evidence. Yeah, no, I know all about Ryan Grimm. I've been paying attention to Ryan Grimm for many, many years now, since like before COVID. I do have to say, he has been, when it comes to Israel and stuff, he has been telling the truth. And like the time and place that this is, you know, we have to show these dark things, right? These images, these visceral screams of these parents that literally just found out that their children are dead. I mean, it's just so horrible. We have to see this because what this war is think about it like this. If this war succeeds, the ultimate goal, right, of this war is actually world domination. Now, it might not seem like that, but this is the system, right? If Israel wins this system, and Israel pretty much already controls our system, they will have solidified their place as a superpower. So, to end this war, to end whatever this is, right? This Jewish administration, I'm honestly just willing to burn it all down. But you know, if leftists want to oppose this war, you know, who am I to say that, you know, that you shouldn't oppose the war? I think this war is the most vile, evil thing. It's definitely Trump's most consequential decision, not only of his political career, but of his entire life. This war has completely changed the trajectory of really history, human civilization, you know. So what happens when Israel wins the Middle East and controls it all? We all lose, because millions of people will come here, right? What do you think Israel's going to do? Do you think Israel's going to like let Arabs and Muslims really like live in peace once they subjugate, once Israel, right, has Pax Judaica? Do you really think they're going to let all of the Arabs and Muslims who hold a massive grudge against them live in peace? Absolutely not. No, they're going to subjugate them, and those people will flee, right? The one thing about Tehran versus Gaza is, of course, you can leave Tehran, right? So I'm not going to obviously sit here and moralize and be like, oh my God, it's like an open air prison. No, if you can get out of Iran. The borders are still open. You can still flee to Armenia, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq. You know, people are fleeing Iran in droves right now. Trump can send 20 million people who broke in and they want to be American so bad. I know, right? That's the thing. If you come to a country illegally, one, I don't want you in the military, first of all. And second, you probably wouldn't have the balls, right? If you're not going to come here legally, then like why would you join the military, right? You know, unless you're trying to take over. What up, Red Pill? Yeah, I mean, you break into America. I have no sympathy for illegal immigrants, but they're also people too, and you know, I wouldn't like send them to go fight a war for Israel. You know, I think that would be a horrible thing to do, right? I mean, wouldn't that be like a morally objectable thing to do, to take the illegal immigrants and not just deport them, but like force them into conscription? Like that'd be insane, dude. You can't do that. No, I would not do that. But you know, what I think about this war is that this war would be the end of us. This war will just mean like complete subjugation. This war will mean complete ownership by Israel, pretty much completely. It'll be completely owned by Israel. So the people in the Middle East are getting bombed. You were getting censored, fired from your job, debanked, called an anti-Semite, made to be a parasite, a pariah, an other. You know, you are the drag of society because you know you talk about what's going on. Like the reality is that we have something in common. All right, is that we're fighting the same enemy. So you know, people like Jake Lang, you know, probably get into that later, but people like Jake Lang who are just doing nothing but stoking divisions between Christians and Muslims, between like I do believe that we are the correct religion, they are the incorrect religion. There's always going to be that tension there. we're never going to get over that, right? As, you know, we believe in different things completely, right? As Christians and Muslims, right? We literally have different holy books. So that's never going to change. But this idea that we always have to shit on them and cheer on when Muslims and like brown people get bombed, it's just pathetic. It really just goes to show it's like people have zero critical thinking skills going on right now. Like just think about you know, and like, you know, you say like, oh, Ryan Grimm posted this. Like, so what? This is like something that the president said, right? And Ryan Grimm has been good on Israel. You know, and you know what? He has the best takes on breaking points. I'll just say that. Like literally out of everybody on breaking points, you know, I tune into breaking points. It's really him and that just the white girl, Emily. It's really just him and her. They have some decent points. She's actually knows a lot more than she puts on. They bring her in and have her break down all sorts of nerdy stuff, which is interesting. But she is a woman, and she, you know, generally don't listen. You know, so there's that. But Ryan definitely has better takes than Sagar. It's whatever his name is, Sagar and Jetty, the brown clown on the show. He's always calling people racist. He's always calling Nick Fuentes and Groypers racist. Always whining about that shit. You know. I met them in Princeton. They were good people. You mean like Ryan Grimm, who we're talking about? In Princeton, eh? Nice. You went to Princeton. Did you go to Princeton, Noticer? Yeah, I think that we all lose when Israel wins in this war. I think that being, well, he's far left. Nice. You went to Princeton. That good on you, bro. Nice. So you actually met Ryan. I mean, he seems like an all right guy. I've watched enough Breaking Points. You know, I don't like how he simps for Ilhan Omar. Obviously. What we got here? So yeah, we'll go over some more war footage, I guess. Oh, you met Emily as well, eh? I mean, they seem chill. I like. Whoa, what is it cool? Oh, damn, it's hypersonic missiles. Yeah, I mean, they seem kind of chill. Crystal Ball seems like a little bit of a Karen. I would, and just like, I don't know, she's just annoying. I just don't like Crystal Ball's delivery. It's really her and Sagar that I fast forward through. Yeah, good morning from Miami. Good morning from Toronto. Dude, I'm definitely visiting Miami soon. Iran's hypersonic missile hits Haifa, Israel. Israel's sky is notably devoid of interceptor missiles. It seems like it just went right through, right? Like, you can't really intercept, like, hypersonic missiles, can you? Like, I don't think it's really possible. This is incredible war footage, bro. The fact that we live in the 21st century, we can just see this kind of stuff. So, radar at Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait was targeted by Iranian drone strike, filmed by U.S. soldiers. Whoa.
They hit the base of it.
That's crazy.
Knocked the lights out on that motherfucker.
They knocked the lights out on that motherfucker.
Yeah. That thing's fucking. Did you get that shit? I got.
These Shahid drones, man, they're so simple, so cheap. It's literally like a 4-stroke attached to like a drone, like a little like wing. Oh, my chat just like refreshed. I caught a lot of flack in the comment section the other day for going at Nick, for calling Ryan Grimm a CIA agent. Ryan Grimm is a great journalist, a legit one. No, he is CIA. I mean, listen, the CIA is still American, right? And keep in mind, there's people in the intelligence agencies that don't want this war. There's, like, you have to keep in mind, the U.S. government is not a monolith. There's factions inside of this. You know, it's massive, right? So it's not, you can't just paint like such a broad picture and be like, well, everyone inside the CIA or everyone in the U.S. government wants this war. I don't really believe that, to be honest. USA, the USA probably can. Our tech is at least 50 years ahead of other countries. But what am I missing that makes you say the guy's he's CIA? Just his connections, you know, where he worked and stuff. I mean, Nick's talked about it extensively before. I'm not saying it's a bad thing necessarily. It's just something that you have to be aware of, right? At least this is my perspective on intelligence and journalists, intelligence agencies and journalists, is that here in the West, at least, yes, there's going to be journalists that are kind of inextricably linked to intelligence agencies, and you just kind of have to be aware of that and do your digging, your due diligence, right? Your critical thinking skills. For instance, I know, like, I watched this guy who does a lot of good stuff about Russia. He's on YouTube, and he's from that Bellingcat organization. I don't know if you guys know about Bellingcat. YouTube's holding a lot of chat messages for review. I don't know why. Maybe it's swearing. I don't know. It says we got a mod handling some shit. So whoever is modding, thank you right now. Got some of my friends that mod. Yeah, so now my perspective on journalists that are like intelligence linked or aligned when it comes to like our intelligence agencies is that it's not always a bad thing, okay? So there's this guy on YouTube who is part of Bellingcat, right? Bellingcat has exposed a lot of Russian plots, a lot of really, really bad stuff that Russia has done. They're big in exposing the people that did the Novichok poisoning, which Novichok is a chemical, like, nerve agent. So they, you know, if you are, and so they have a lot of, you know, reach, right? There is, you know, a reason that you would have journalists out there that, you know, they basically dispense things for the public from intelligence agencies so that you can put two and two together and go, well, you know, there's clearly something going on out here, right? So the fact that we have intelligence agencies and journalists collaborating, it's not crazy to me. It's not really like even like a super taboo thing. It's just that you should know. You should do your research about who these journalists are, who these organizations are, right? So, for instance, Bellingcat, like I said, they're very good about exposing the wrongdoings of Russia, right? And I personally, you know, I view Russia as an adversary. You know, I'm a little bit more hawkish, right, when it comes to Russia. So I appreciate that stuff, and we should know what the FSB is doing, what the GRU is doing across Europe, North America, that kind of stuff, right? But Bellingcat is a CIA outfit, right? They are literally a spokespiece for the CIA. So as long as you know that, it's not like that crazy of a thing, right? He has connections for, but what throws me off is the CIA, I wouldn't think, is a fan of Iran, and he has good connections in Iran. But wouldn't you want to like pose as that? And like, wouldn't like the best CIA agent be like, oh, I'm like friendly with people in Iran, like I like Iran, you know? Wouldn't you be like that? Right? Like, isn't that like the definition of like an intelligence agent? So Max Blumenthal is just like a dipshit communist Jew. So Max Blumenthal is like a third worldist. He's scum, right? Like Max Blumenthal simps for like whatever tyrannical tin pot dictatorship will pay him. Like, this is my honest opinion of Max Blumenthal, is that he literally gets paid by anybody, right? So we don't know, he's Canadian, so he's not subject to the same like financial laws as Americans. It's a lot easier to get away with all sorts of foreign intelligence operations in Canada. So Max is a communist. Max Blumenthal did a hit piece for the Southern Poverty Law Center 20 years ago on David Irving. David Irving is like an original noticer. So if you don't know that, you got to go check that out. That's on YouTube. This goes to show he is a Jewish communist, right? My media is all over the place. I like Nick and Max Blumenthal. That's an odd mix. I get a lot of people. Like, I look at my channel analytics, and a lot of people are left and right all over the place. A lot of Jimmy Dore viewers. His father is Senator Blumenthal, correct? No. Max Blumenthal is a Canadian Jewish communist journalist, quote unquote. He runs the Gray Zone with Aaron Mate, who's also Jewish. No, Senator Blumenthal, the Democrat, is a completely different family. It's almost like Iranians were never the problem. I know, right? This idea that Iranians are like super backwards, you know. Well, it's clearly not. They're clearly not backwards because they have sophisticated enough precision technology and drones and missiles that they can hit the Bahrain desalination plant. Oh my god, guys, is Professor Zhang's predictions coming correct? No, literally everyone saw this coming. So yeah, it's been reported that Bahrain's desalination plant has been hit by a Shahed drone. So you lost me at Jew. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and I don't really listen to anybody that's Jewish, to be honest. Like Dave Smith, I've been going hard on Dave Smith, you know. Dave Smith really lost me. I'm definitely big fans of Mr. Blumenthal. What scares me about Nick is he's Hispanic like me, but only talks about white people. Okay, let's break that down a little bit. Nick is, he did his ancestry test, and his Mexican side is actually mostly Portuguese, majority Portuguese, and he's like total overall of his total overall like DNA, he said he's like 13% Amerindian, right? Which is like, you know, American, Native American, right? So that's not really like foreigner, right? You're gonna say like Native Americans are foreign. I don't really think so. And in reality, I don't even consider myself Hispanic. I barely speak Spanish. Rep 305 in USA, not Cuba, like my Warhawk parents. Your parents want war in Cuba. We're gonna get into that. So if you're part Cuban, you're gonna like we're gonna talk about Cuba a little bit. Dave Smith is a moron. Yeah. I mean, might as well start a new recording. So yeah, I mean, I just kind of got a rant about Dave Smith a little bit. Dave Smith, dude, he got everything wrong. What is with Dave Smith and getting like everything wrong? Purity spiral? Totally, dude. So don't get me started on his Epstein maximalism. I mean, listen, I am no Epstein maximalist. I'm also not a minimalist, you know. But he has bad takes after bad takes. Dude, where did he go wrong? I mean, first of all, I remember in 2024, during November and October, when I was watching Dave literally every day since like 2022 to probably like 2025, mid-2025 probably. And Dave, during the election cycle, if you guys were watching Dave at the time, Dave Smith was telling everyone to vote for Donald Trump and JD Vance, right? Well, why was Dave Smith endorsing JD Vance and Donald Trump, right? Well, I was kind of a watcher of his show quite a bit at the time. Dave said that Kamala Harris was going to get us into World War III with Russia, right? So if you guys remember, if you guys watched Dave Smith's show, he was talking incessantly all the time about World War III, nuclear Armageddon, and he was mainly concerned about Ukraine, right? The Ukraine conflict getting out of control, escalation there, he was against arming Ukraine with long-range missiles, all right, which Ukraine is now producing themselves, all right, and hitting targets deep within Russia with domestically sourced and produced ballistic missiles. So props to Ukraine, to be honest. They're, really pulling ahead, I guess. So Dave, who was against sending missiles to Ukraine, he said Trump will end the war on the first day. He said, guys, we got to vote for Dave Smith. Dave Smith endorses Donald Trump and JD Vance because we're going to end the war in Ukraine on the first day, which he was saying Kamala Harris is going to get us into World War III if we give Ukraine long-range missiles, right? If we give them HIMARS, this kind of stuff. So, which now Ukraine is fielding their own domestically sourced and produced long-range missiles hitting targets within Russia, thousands of kilometers deep within Russia. They hit a missile factory the other day. They've hit multiple arsenals. They hit the KGB headquarters in Crimea. These missiles have been game-changing, and they are literally made at home for Ukraine. Ukraine is not getting them from anywhere else. And there is no major escalation, really, in the war. The war is continuing on as normal, right? It's a brutal Slav war, right? Like the Slavs, they do it a little bit differently, right? It's real attrition. Ukraine is hitting deep within Russia, and Russia is just responding with cruise missiles of their own. Okay, so we don't have World War III, right? Ukraine does have missiles. Ukraine is domestically producing their own cruise missiles and ballistic missiles now. Look it up. They've actually been hitting deep within Russia. They've been really messing up Russian capabilities to keep it going. So, no, Ukraine does have their own missiles. That's the point I'm making. They have their own missiles, long-range missiles. Yeah, and their drones are good too. Ukraine has really tuned up their drones. Most of their kills on Russia come from drones and missiles now. So the British made them factories. Yeah, but they're making them in Ukraine with like locally sourced materials, with like metal and electronics and everything. They're making everything, most of what they need. Like microchips, I guess they get from abroad, but pretty much everything else, yeah, like the British help them. That's good. The British, making a factory for them. That's good. Yeah, Russians out there riding on horseback. I know, right? That shit is crazy to me, bro. That shit is crazy when I see Russians with like Cold War, sometimes even World War II era gear. I was just watching this documentary I was telling you guys about. This girl went to the front line with just her camera, this Russian girl. And one of these soldiers who is getting drafted to the front line. And he's like, I'll take you with me, I guess. And they go to like the staging area, and they're getting all their equipment. And she's like filming the soldiers, and the soldiers are showing off their gear, and it literally has like hammer and sickles with stars. Like literally, the equipment is still stamped with like Soviet era, like markings in symbols. Like they're getting gear out of storage from like 50, 60 years ago. It's really down bad. The Russian side taking like super heavy losses. So back to Dave Smith, right? Dave Smith says that, if we give Ukraine the capability to hit Russia deep within Russia and hit their, logistics, their supplies, their training facilities, their factories, that's going to start World War III because for some reason that'll start World War III. There's not really an explanation given, right? It's just kind of insinuated that, well, if we give Ukraine really long-range missiles, then Russia is going to nuke Europe? Nuke Ukraine? Like, these aren't, like, we're not giving Ukraine nuclear weapons here, So, next we will see Greece sending Spartans. Yeah, I don't know about that, Chief. Spartans to fight the Persians? I mean, any Greek that wants to go fight a Persian right now, I don't know, dude. I saw 300. It didn't go well. Ukrainian drones are very good and they're helping them a lot. Yeah. So Dave said that Kamala would start World War III. We had the majority of the Ukraine conflict, or the start of it. I guess not the majority anymore, but a good chunk of the Ukraine conflict, and it was started under Biden. Under Biden, we did not have any escalation into World War III. Under Biden, we had no war in Iran. So this idea that you had to vote for Trump, this is what Dave Smith was saying, that you got to vote for Trump because, Kamala's going to start World War III. Well, look where we are, Dave, right? We aren't in the movie 300, laughed my ass off. Yeah, I know, right? Promethean updates, Susan Kokanda. I don't know who those people are. I have no idea who those people are. So Dave was wrong on that. Dave is all, like I said, he is a... I was listening to Dave on his Epstein take up until really he said that Michael Tracy should be killed. Listen, guys, Michael Tracy is he's not a real ally of the Groypers, but he's been really good on this Epstein stuff. And Dave, on his podcast, Dave denies it, but he said this. Everyone can go watch the clip. But Dave says that people like Michael Tracy, who defend Jeffrey Epstein and his ilk, that they should be killed. That, And now Dave has been trying to walk that back. Really, really dumb mistake. Shouldn't have said that. Whether you agree with Michael Tracy or not, this idea that because you question the Epstein hysteria, that you should just be killed, that's ridiculous, right? What kind of a person, seriously holds the view that just because you question this mass hysteria that is going on with Jeffrey Epstein, every time, there's a crazy thing that happened not far from here, actually. It was in, it was somewhere in Ontario. I don't remember. But somewhere here in Ontario, I just saw this on the news. There was a father and daughter who were out getting coffee. And then this young couple called the cops on them because they thought the girl, it was too big of an age gap. It was literally a father with his teenage daughter, and they were getting a cup of coffee. And this couple, this total young Karen, called the cops on this father and daughter because they were sitting together having a coffee. Now, to me, they literally cited in the news, they were like, well, there's so much going on with all this human trafficking stuff. Oh, we're just seeing it all over our social media. We're just being inundated about human trafficking. It's this stuff has gotten completely insane. And they were giddy about it. They were like, oh, it's just a big misunderstanding. Bro, it is getting kind of ridiculous, right? Where people are getting kind of hysterical, where they see a father-daughter out in public and they think immediately it's a young girl's being trafficked. It's that kind of hysteria. The worst hysteria, I gotta say this, guys, the worst hysteria is and Dave has been pushing this too. A lot of people have been saying this. The Iranian state has been even saying this, that this is the Epstein regime, right? That this is a war. This is Epstein's war. That this is a war of the Epstein class, all right? I got to tell you guys, this war has zero to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Literally nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. There is pretty much no evidence, all right? I mean, there'll be people will be like, no, Blasphemer, we found something, and the reality is, dude, I've looked through it all. There is nothing to say that there is blackmail on Donald Trump from Jeffrey Epstein, especially that was used to get him into a war with Iran. There's no evidence of that whatsoever, and it's what it is people being quite childish, and they're making excuses for Donald Trump, right? And this is the cult of personality. He chose war. He was convinced that this was a good idea. He was convinced that for his legacy, that this would be good. This is not about the Iranians, freeing the Iranians, obviously. It's just a farce, right? Bombing people to free them, you know? So, back to what Dave is obviously, he knew that Donald Trump and JD Vance, they were going to do this war. Why? Because Donald Trump has said for many decades now, but he was very adamant in his 2024 campaign that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Trump saw the money bags. Exactly, right? Trump's 2016 campaign was self-funded. His 2020 campaign started to take donor money. 2024 campaign, who's his biggest donor? It's Miriam Adelson. This war has nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Another surprisingly good take. It has literally nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. People are saying this is the Epstein class. The thing is too is that if the Iranian state wants to play this as their propaganda line, their guy, I've been watching all of their guy, their main guy, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the foreign minister. He's doing all these interviews with CBS and the BBC. He is going out and he's saying this is a war of the Epstein class. If this is what the Iranian state is going with for their propaganda line, I'm sorry, but it's just not that's just not hitting. I'm sorry. It's just not hitting. They should go with like the full on like jihad thing, right? But this thing of like, oh well, you're like a pedo empire. Bro, that's some schizo stuff. Iran going with that is just concerning that they are completely lost it. That they're going to go with like a Candace Owens like slop tier propaganda, run. Yeah, it's just super dumb, right? And again, it's people that are plan trusters. These are people that think that, oh, Donald Trump actually has it under control. JD Vance is still our guy. He's still based. Still loves Mountain Dew and Halo, right? Bro, these people despise you. They look at you as like ants. All right, they look at you like nothing. The decision to send your brothers and sisters, your sons and daughters to go die, to get hit by Iranian ballistic missiles in Kuwait. Because that's what it is, right? You wake up one day, right? And you're in Kuwait. You wake up, and now an Iranian ballistic missile falls out of the sky, and now you're dead. And that's the reality, right? And so Dave Smith supporting Donald Trump and JD Vance in 2024, knowing full well that JD Vance was saying that he is pro-regime change in Iran. JD Vance said during the campaign many, many times, and you know what? I think people are selective about what they want to hear, right? People don't want to hear that, oh, well, the candidate that's promising the thing that I've been talking about a lot. I want to see, I've been engagement farming the Ukraine war, essentially, and I'm not going to say that Dave has been pro-Russia. Listen, he never appeared on any like tenant, thing, with like tenant media. But that just plays into Russia's like hand. And Russia is our adversary. To be like anti-Ukraine is just kind of stupid. So this idea that Kamala was going to start World War III because if Ukraine got ballistic missiles or long-range missiles for that matter, not even ballistic, just cruise missiles really, that was going to spark World War III. I think it's stupid. I think it's armchair. It's being like an armchair general. How does that even make sense? That Ukraine being able to strike a tank factory deep within Siberia is going to start the nuclear exchange between superpowers. Like, why? Just because we provided it to them? It doesn't make any sense. They're using them now to strike deep within Russia, their own missiles, having great effect, and there's really no escalation, right? Russia has been doing the same things they always do, So Dave was wrong about those things. I'm sure there's more he's wrong about. Oh yeah, mass migration, right? So it's like we're going down a list of everything Dave Smith has been wrong about in like 2025, 2026. let's talk about the. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the shootings of those communists in Minnesota. Shadow ban like mad, no problem putting back up. Just looking at Promethean later. Best takes in this channel. Yeah, I'll check out Promethean update. Thanks, bro. I don't think you're shadow banned, bro. We shouldn't have that problem. What are they saying? Yeah, so Dave, guys, if you were watching Dave, like I was, alright? I used to watch a lot of Dave Smith. He was talking about how bad New York City was, right? Because he's a New Yorker, right? And he's a Jew, so he's always complaining, right? Always complaining about how much migrants are in New York City. He's like talking about I can step outside my apartment and it's just filled with migrants selling fake merchandise, right? So, and Dave was talking about the crime in the city, how young people can't get any jobs because of all the immigrants. So Dave was saying that it's gotten so bad, the tens of millions of people that were let in under Biden-Harris, that we got to close the borders and we got to do mass deportations. Dave Smith was parroting like the far right take in October, November 2024. He was saying what we were always saying. He was saying we have to deport tens of millions of people, whether, liberals like it or not. And it might get a little bit messy, but this is why we got to vote for Trump. Now, keep in mind, Dave's number one thing he would emphasize on top of everything, was that Kamala Harris was going to get us into World War III. So this was like kind of secondary, is that he would say, this is a big deal, guys. Tens of millions of people came in under Biden-Harris. Like, we got to vote for Trump and get these people out because this will be like the end economically of our country, right? That's the thing too. Dave would always preface this. This is economic. This isn't demographic, guys. This is just going to be, bad. I don't know why it's like holding so many messages for review. I think it's AI going on. Yeah, I think the AI mod is like the YouTube moderation is going kind of crazy. It's the state of the channel, guys. Yeah, I'll probably go in, but it might just be set a certain way. So as I was saying, so now that those two communists that were, the Somali scammers got uncovered by Nick Shirley, right? And I remember Dave's reaction to that was like, wow, this is horrible. I can't believe that like the taxpayer is being taken advantage of like this. Like, we gotta shut this down. Okay. Well, Trump sends in ICE and DHS to shut it down. The far left comes out, Antifa comes out, and they block the streets. They block ICE. All right. And they protest. All right. They go beyond protesting, but they interfere with federal law enforcement. All right. They try to ram them with their cars. They try to pull guns on them. Yeah, let me see if I can change the chat settings real quick. Let me see. The comment section says no moderation. Yeah, so I don't have any moderation in the comment section and the chat turned on, guys. So if there's if you're, it's definitely not on my end. I have no moderation for the chat whatsoever on my end. If your comments are being held or whatever, it's definitely YouTube. So it's definitely not me. Yeah. Yeah, a few of your messages didn't go through. Yeah. It is what it is, guys. Like, the channel's definitely been under they've definitely been under attack with the censorship regime. That's why we've had to censor words. It is what it is, It's better to have a, censored channel, censored words, than to have no channel whatsoever. It's just the reality. So So yeah, Dave freaked out. Dave absolutely freaked out when it came to these communists getting shot in Minnesota. Said that we basically have to end this whole operation, that this is too much, that this isn't the mass deportation policy that he wanted, that kind of stuff. So this is just really just a sample of things that Dave Smith has been wrong about. I really stopped watching him a few months ago now, but man, really, really insufferable. His I gotta say, one of his worst takes is his like age gap relationship takes. Like, give me a break, dude. Dave, he was arguing with somebody. He was dead set on arguing that everyone involved with like Epstein was like a pedophile with a capital P. And people were arguing, well, that's not necessarily true in almost, some of the cases, right? And people were like, Dave, like, what's your like definition of that? And he was like, and they were talking about this girl in the Epstein files that was like 23. And he's like, dude, that's like literally a child. Like Dave Smith, he like literally called like a 23-year-old girl a child. So he is part of like this like age gap relationship hysteria, which I just find to be like low IQ. Yeah, he said like dating a 23-year-old girl if you're a 50-year-old man, right? Because that was the context. They were talking about like a 50-year-old man dating a 23-year-old girl. He's like, dude, that's like, she's like over like half your age. It's like, okay, and, right? So total purity spiral. I think it's laughable, right? Because he looks like a total simp, like total, like, clearly his wife has, his balls in her purse. Maybe Dave Smith is just overcorrecting from Thaddeus Russell in regards to the age gap. I don't really follow like Thaddeus Russell. I just think that yeah, see, it's holding a lot of messages for review. Another moderator just handled this.
You don't have any channel mods, right?
No, I do, but it's just the guys. It's just like chat.
I doubt they're actually modded.
No, it's YouTube.
So it must be.
No, it's definitely the YouTube chat AI.
Our only mods are
Yeah.
like real life friends.
Yeah, no, the only mods we actually have on this channel are my friends, and they're at work right now, so they're probably not modding my live stream. So it's definitely YouTube, right?
Someone likes the Epstein.
What's with the Epstein jacket? It's pretty swaggy, isn't it? I like it. It's sharp. I keep getting compliments on it. So, no, Dave Smith being part of like this kind of age gap hysteria thing is kind of silly. I think he's just being like a total beta male when it comes to that. Listen, if you get upset at like an older dude dating like a girl in her 20s, let alone a girl who's like 18, like, I'm sorry, but you have like your own kind of like simping beta male problems. All good. We can work around banning props. Happy smart guy. I will look at Promethean updates. I wish Nick would get clothes for fat people. I want the jacket. Laughing my ass off. Gotta lose weight, brother. Lose weight. It's easy, bro. Just don't eat. Whenever I feel like I'm putting on pounds, just man, it's holding a lot of chat messages right now. Like, I'm seeing them come in. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, I can see like the ones that it's holding. It's holding a lot of messages from chat. It's kind of annoying. This is another like reason why I like Kick. Yeah, crypto Jews for sure. Windrower attack 2300. I got married with my wife at 18 back in 1992. She was 25 years older than me. So, I mean, damn, dude, that's based. Age gaps, for the most part, don't matter. Just the heart. I lost her from cancer back in 2014. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I'm just grateful that I ever had her at all in my life. No, for sure. I mean, I'm so sorry to hear that, man. You know, losing people is definitely, definitely like some of the hardest things you have to go through. I've lost people before. I've never lost a girlfriend or a wife. I've never been married, but so I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that's like, man. Definitely pray for you. Hey, Red Pill, you've lost 90 pounds since January 2025. Keep it up, brother. Keep it up. I've never been on BitChute. No, I've never been on BitChute. So, hey, 90 pounds, that's good, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. We want you to be alive and healthy, you know. I've never really been fat. It's just whenever I feel like I've been a bit of a lazy bastard, just like we'll skip lunch for a little while. I'll do my little, you know, I'll just Ramadan mog. You know, I'm not doing Ramadan, but I'll mog the Muslims with my fasting. I'll just skip lunch, and I'll be like, what are you talking about? I did it too. Yeah. So I think we'll get into the Cuba stuff. Get into the Cuba stuff in a second. I'm just going to use the washroom. We'll be right back. It's Luke here. You can talk to chat if you want, bro. I'll say chat.
Yo, chat. It's Blasphemer's brother. How y'all doing? Just looking at chat here. I haven't really tried a BitChute or I haven't tried Rumble really either. Yeah, we do sound like the exact same. Yeah, I've never really talked to live chat before, but it's cool. Yeah, I haven't really been messing with Dave Smith because I don't know, I feel like he's just like kind of like a fake libertarian, or I guess like libertarians and anarchists kind of run together. I just think it's kind of lame that he reps like the Libertarian Party or did in the past, because it's like it doesn't really make sense to have like a libertarian or like anarchist government, you know. It's like kind of an oxymoron. My brother is older than me by 2 years, by the way, whoever was asking. Cuba, huh? Fuck anything that starts with lib. I mean, I don't blame you after the French Revolution, right? It's pretty confusing. Yeah, I'll check out BitChute and Rumble. I mean, I know that like the underground people tend to be on there, right?
But check out his channel, Bonk Gaming. Here, thank you. Get your
I gave my Dave Smith take. Fake libertarian.
fake libertarian.
Libertarian Party is lame.
Yeah, libertarian. Being a libertarian is pretty
Like
pretty lame.
I know being anarchist can be kind of cool, but the Libertarian Party is like the most.
Yeah, it's super dorky.
The only thing worse would probably be like a communist party.
Only thing worse is a communist, he says. Yeah, I mean libertarians are just annoying. There's nerds, right?
It's like fake nerdery too.
Dave Smith is lazy as hell. Sloppy takes too much weed.
Literally, dude.
Yeah, I feel like he's the Jimmy Dore brain.
Been hitting the pen.
He's been hitting blinkers too hard, bro. Jimmy Dore's been same thing, bro. Hitting too many blinkers with that old age. It's not good, bro. It's not.
I'm gonna switch him to the vape instead.
Yeah, it's too. It's
crazy.
yeah. Libertarians are no different than liberals. I mean, there's some minor differences, but overall, you're right.
Like 90%.
Yeah, I'd say they have like a 90% overlap with liberals for the most part. You'd expect like libertarians to be like the, you know, what's the guy's name?
This guy
Oh yeah, Luke. He looks like Mr. Beast, eh?
You think?
That's based.
Yeah, the same. We sound exactly the
Yeah, I mean we're brothers.
same. What are you saying?
Yeah. Well, what's the guy's name? Andrew Ryan. You guys have played BioShock, right? Andrew Ryan is like, what do you think of, right? Like when I think of a libertarian, right? I think of like Andrew Ryan from BioShock, right? Dave Smith is just really, really boring overall. Everything about him. Yeah, too much weed. Listen, I'm not like anti-weed, guys. But let's be real, the Jimmy Dore brain, that's like a real effect, right? I feel like you got to do if you're gonna smoke weed, you know, I'd never tell you to go do that. But if you're gonna do these things, you should probably do other things to keep your mind right. I'm a big believer in getting exercise, eating healthy, all that stuff, right? Don't overuse stuff. And if you're gonna, the problem with weed, in my opinion, is that it kind of like demotivates you. It doesn't, yeah, I mean, it doesn't motivate me, homie. Makes me want to fall asleep and eat, you know. But no, I mean, to me personally, like I value productivity, getting things done. I am a habitual chiller, but I like to get things done, and I like to have a clear head. Yeah, noticer, I am. Weed is for losers. Yeah, it kind of is, right? And like you kind of have to be okay with that. I'm not a loser. And I just choose to, like, when I want to have a clear head and have full control over my faculties, it's like that's like my choice, right? And I think it's also a choice for people that want to be intoxicated on stuff. I'm not a big anti-drug person. I'm definitely not pro-drug. I'm not like a leftist or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I think the drug war ultimately kind of an L. I think the drug war is ultimately an L. I think if people want to be losers, ultimately you should let them. And this is just temporarily. If people want to be losers, I think we because we're accelerationists, right? Things have to get worse. Things have to get worse overall for people to keep noticing, right? To see, like, people wake up and go, well, this is bad, right? So I kind of, and Clav has that kind of idea where basically, and I take this idea, I don't really care if other people do drugs, right? If you're going to like poison your mind and your body, if you're going to like kill yourself with like stupid shit, and I mean, I don't really care, go for it. It's really like none of my business, right? Now, where it does kind of become my business is when we take power and we need like strong, sober-minded white people, like white men. And that requires, to get to that point, it does require like clear heads and clear thinking. So, I don't moralize about drugs or like drinking or whatever. I think that's lame. And like, I do like to party and go out and like have fun and stuff. I'm not like some kind of pious, no fun having person. I lived like a blue collar life, especially before this. So yeah, I've kind of, I've been around the block. I'm not like Nick. I'm not like a pure virgin like that, So don't ever look to me for be like, oh, well, he's like super pure. I'm not. But I'm also, I tell people you should have full control of your faculties. That is what is required, right? If you want to be valuable to this political movement, then being on drugs is not really going to help, right? Omega-3 MCT oil, nicotine is all I need to keep me daily, keep your brain strong and functional while using. Yeah, I'm interested in the nicotine thing. Right? Is that real that nicotine is what's the term? Neurogenic, meaning that it's like it, no, neurogenic, meaning that it promotes like growth of new brain cells. Right? So I think stuff like psychedelics and nicotine, which there's like some evidence that nicotine and some psychedelics can promote like growth of new, new neurons in the brain. So I'd have to see, like the science behind that. The nicotine thing is pretty interesting. I've had 3 back surgeries. I'm in pain daily. Alcohol is the only thing that helps kill the pain. Yeah, definitely works. Booze definitely works, I'll tell you that. I don't give a fuck, there's nothing wrong with smoking some weed after a long day of work to come home and relax. Yeah, but you have to understand like what comes with that too, right? And like, say for instance, if you want to operate in like politics or business at a high level, it's really going to be like counterproductive. When rather than you are the exception. For recreational use, it is for losers. Yeah, and you just have to, like, I wouldn't say all like drugs are for losers necessarily, but some certainly are in the way that they can be used. And I would say this last thing I would say about weed is that I don't like hate necessarily weed or like weed, people are smoking weed or whatever. It's just the culture. It's how cringe it all really is. I think like just being, if you're like publicly associated with like, smoking weed, it's just like, it looks lame, right? Like, what do you want to look like, Snoop Dogg or something? You want to look like Wiz Khalifa or I don't know, even Willie Nelson, right? I don't know, that whole persona, it's really stupid. It's like low IQ. Like I said, I don't really care if you smoke weed or eat it or like whatever, or even if you do other drugs for that matter. It mainly has to do with what you're doing with your life. And this may be like a bit of a spicy take. I don't know if you notice or if you agree with this, but I think it should be allowed for certain people. I think certain people like artists. If you're a legit like musician or painter, if you're like a director, you're a great actor, I think there should be a cutout, right? I think you should have to actually, this is what my policy. Yeah, it's holding a lot of messages still. My policy would just be like, well, if you're like Jim Morrison type, I feel like if you're closer to like Jim Morrison, then if you're more like that, if you're creative, maybe there could be like a license or whatever for you, your creative class. That's what I think, at least. Yeah. No, drugs, there is no point to even like trying them. Um that's a one true thing about drugs is that if you never try them, you'll never miss them, right? So it's very true. Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, I think the nicotine thing is interesting for neurogenesis. They're building new brain cells overall. But other than that, I wouldn't really tell people to go and like do drugs or anything like that. Like drugs is such a broad thing, such a broad category of things to talk about that it's like, yeah. So recreational drugs I think are kind of whack. I think if you want to involve yourself in like politics or really anything high-minded, like I said, if you're in the creative field, I kind of like give an exception to people like that. Usually because they come out with a good music or whatever. But other than that, I think for the vast majority of people, they just avoid that kind of stuff. Stay clear-headed. Enjoy having control over your faculties. Yeah, no, like you don't want to like lose. That's the thing, is the older you get to, the more control you want to have of your mind and body. I think that's very important to keep that top of mind. Weed and psychedelics have helped a lot of people mentally and physically. Yeah, but they've also like made a lot of people go crazy, right? It's undeniable about psychedelics is that they have look at Sid Barrett from Pink Floyd, right?
Yeah.
Think of all the acid casualties, right?
I've got at least 2 friends who freaked out just on weed. So.
Yeah, I've known people that can't handle like weed and psychedelics and they lose their damn minds. So that's never good. And some people never come back from that. Yeah, moderation is key. But sometimes some people moderation is just not, they can't do it, right? So some people it's just better to have none at all. So enough about that. Getting sad. It's sad because I don't want to have to talk about my friends that died from drugs. You get to that part of the conversation, it's gonna get all dour, you know. On to the chat. Hold on, I think I have to fix the chat. 1 second. I don't see the chat on screen. Oh, I think it's because it's the bottom. Yeah, there we go. I think we're good now. Just let me get that fixed. All right. All right. Have a good one, Noticer. Yeah, no, it's none of the it, and that's the thing, Julian, is that I really don't care, right? What drugs people do, I really don't. It's like I have like opinions on them and the people, the subcultures and stuff like that. And yeah, like I know from experience too, right? Like I won't go into that this stream, but you know, I've been around the block, I've partied, you've been there, done that. It's really a waste of time. You're better off just getting your skills up. You know, getting your money up, dude. Like getting your networking and your connections up. Get in those rooms, boys. Get in some rooms. All right. So let's get into it, guys. We're going to talk about the Trump administration. The Trump administration sets sights on Cuba. So let's get into this.
Iran, the question now is, could Cuba be next? It looks like there has been nothing subtle, right, about the hints that President Trump has been dropping, telling another media outlet today that Cuba is going to fall pretty soon. They want to make a deal, and so I'm going to put Marco Rubio over there to see how well that works out. All of that.
Yeah, I don't know about putting Marco Rubio in charge of Cuba. I get it, but doesn't he have a lot on his plate right now? I really don't think that he can handle all of this, dude.
Echoing what he said.
And he's going to be the king of Iran too, right?
The Shah yesterday. Listen to this.
But what's happening with Cuba is amazing, and we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back to Cuba. Hopefully not to stay.
And joining us now is NBC News analyst.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, Cuba is going to fall pretty soon. Dude, so we're going to have a war in Iran and a war in Cuba. We're going to have regime change in Cuba. How crazy is that?
Trump said today that
protests erupt in Cuba as power outages persist. So, from what I understand, this like blockade of energy has only gotten worse because Venezuela, of course, has been forced to cut off energy to Cuba. So now Cuba is in total darkness. They have no energy. I've actually been to Cuba. My parents took me when I was a kid. Because we're Canadian, we can actually like fly there like directly. It's over 15 years ago. Probably, yeah, definitely over 15 years ago. And dude, it was not cool. I did not like Cuba as a tourist destination. I gotta say, it was not. It really wasn't it.
Mr. Trump said today that nation's communist government is at the end of the line. Local 10's Byron Tollefson says the president's comments come at the same time a growing number of people in Havana are demanding their freedom.
Cuban Americans we talked with in Little Havana have been closely watching the developments back from Cuba. They're very worried about what's going on over there and just hoping that things get better soon.
It hits an emotional plug in my heart, you know, because my mom, my grandparents, they all came from Cuba.
I feel that
it's like, bro, I feel a little bit different about this one because it's literally Americans' backyard, but it's like we're literally in the Middle East launching the biggest war in decades. This is going to be America's Ukraine. we just, and then we have to deal with what's going on with Taiwan in the future. Like, look to 2027, and Xi Jinping has a plan to potentially take Taiwan sometime either in or after 2027. He wants to do it before Taiwan can potentially get more military technology that could shift the balance, i.e., if Taiwan acquires brand new strategic missiles, and potentially, if given enough time and if really pushed, Taiwan could get a nuclear weapon. So we're getting ourselves into really two big wars. Taiwan's the one we have to focus on. Iran, we shouldn't be there whatsoever. Cuba, on the other hand, it's like, if we didn't have Iran going on, then yeah, I would probably support this. But I don't know. I don't really see, like, we're doing operations in Ecuador now. It's a lot.
Humanitarian crisis.
Two first-generation Cuban Americans emotional as they hear the stories coming from back home. Thousands remaining without power, food, fuel, and medicine shortages. Social media videos showing
going to war with China is a bit scary right now, in my opinion. Iron Hammer Forge, like, we can handle it. Yeah, I agree, Iron Hammer. We can definitely handle it if we weren't going to war in Iran and Cuba at the same time, while trying to keep our commitments to Ukraine, which our commitments are very big to Ukraine.
Protests breaking out in Havana overnight.
But I agree with the sentiment overall that if we weren't in this debacle in Iran, especially if we weren't in Iran and Ukraine at the same time, that we could definitely win a war with China, with all of our allies, with Taiwan. The problem is the more places that this expands to, the more places this Iran conflict expands to, and the more places in general that Trump decides to do military action, it makes it less and less likely that we can really support Taiwan in the way that we should. Yeah, this is all a wider
the government
conflict.
is blaming the deteriorating conditions on the United States' fuel blockade on the island. President Trump has floated what he calls a friendly takeover of the island nation, and suggesting the Communist Party government will soon fall, calling its economy very weak.
Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line.
My grandfather used to say it was the gem of the Caribbean, and I truly believe it is.
Cuban Americans are worried about their people, who they say are suffering more and more.
The people should be fed, should be nurtured, should be cared for.
But they're also hopeful.
Yeah, like, the worst part about Cuba, when I was there like 15 years ago, my parents took me there, the food, man. The food was terrible. Throughout the day, you couldn't get anything but... So I'll start at breakfast, actually. Breakfast, bro, they had a limited amount of eggs. They had French fries and hot dogs, and what else? That was about it. Some bacon. Yeah, they had some fruit. No bread, no toast. My dad hated that, or no toast. And then throughout the day, all they had was like cold fries, like crinkle fries, and like pre-made sandwiches. Just like chicken salad sandwiches, cheese sandwiches. That was literally it. And then dinner time came around, and dude, they swapped out the same restaurant every night for like a new theme. So like the Italian restaurant turned into a Cuban restaurant, turned into like a French restaurant, and it was all terrible food. Like, the food quality was just horrible. So that was my experience of Cuba. So I think, like, the people deserve freedom, of course. It's just that we can't really handle this right now. Like, why are we doing this, right? Like, why are we choosing now, Trump? It's really like he got the spike. He got his dopamine spike from doing the Venezuela op. He got confidence from it, and now, you know, we want more and more and more.
Of the possibility of a brighter future.
Well, I hope everything gets transferred peacefully, and the Cuban people, there's never been a better time right now.
That man is hoping the Cuban people take back their island, ushering a new form of government. In Little Havana, Byron Tollefson, Local 10 News.
Now, with all that being said, it's like, I do think that a scenario like they were just talking about is probably, it's probably more likely than other places. Like, Cuba has in fact been rating to fall for a long time. Yeah, it's holding so many comments right now, dude. It's so annoying. Try goy slop menu. Yeah. No, it was total goy slop. I can see the comments that it's holding right now, so I can respond to them. Now's the time because he'll be neutered after the midterms. Yeah, he's rushing to get his legacy, right? That's what Trump is rushing to do. You know? I think that's what is motivating Trump to do these things right now in the time. Right now. Let's see what else.
Soon become. We're looking forward to the great change that will soon be coming to Cuba. Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money. They have no oil. They have a bad philosophy. They have a bad regime that's been bad for a long time. And they used to get the money from Venezuela. They get the oil from Venezuela.
This will be extremely popular, but, you know, you say you don't think Republicans and conservatives are going to lose the midterms. Like, riding on what successes? Like, let's put it like this. Let's go from, I think, was the election of like 1916 or something like that. American presidents, every time they're an incumbent and they go to have midterm elections, it's a rule, generally. It's such a rule that the incumbent will lose seats in the midterms that it's only this precedent has only been broken once in over 100 years, about 110 years. And that was... And this is what I'm saying. The rule is that the incumbent president, generally speaking, loses seats in the midterm elections, right? This happened to every single time, to every single president, every single incumbent president, until Obama 2012, when Obama won in 2012 and the Democrats won a majority in the House and the Senate. So it's only ever happened once, and that was with a Democrat. That was with literally Obama, right? Their biggest star in, decades, 100 years. So, no, the Republicans are going to lose the House. They're going to lose the Senate, probably. It's not looking good.
But they don't have any money from Venezuela. They don't have any oil. They don't have anything from... People can't even... They land in Cuba. They can't get gasoline to fly out. They have to leave their planes behind. And they want to negotiate, and they are negotiating with Marco and myself and some others. And I would think a deal would be made very easily with Cuba. But for 50 years, I've been hearing, as a little boy, I'd be hearing about Cuba. Cuba's a disaster. But I've been hearing so much about Cuba. But Cuba's in its last moments of life.
Isn't that like kind of a terrible thing, right? That we've strangled Cuba for all of this time. It's like, I get why, all right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not naive to the history, like the missile crisis, all that stuff. But isn't it kind of crazy you just like strangled them for all of this long?
As it was, it'll have a great...
Ever watch Bald and Bankrupt smuggle a kitten out of Cuba? That was cute. I like to go sometimes. Maybe bring my own food. No, I don't think I've seen that video. I've watched a lot of Bald and Bankrupt, though. He's pretty funny.
New life, but it's in its last moments of life the way it is. And but our focus right now is on Iran, and we'll do that. I would say, what will you do? Take about 2 days off, Marco? No, he won't. Maybe an hour. He'll take 1 hour off, and then he'll finish up a deal on Cuba.
Yeah, and I'm not like one of these anti-interventionist people that would be like, oh, alarm bells every time, we do something imperialistic. No, I am like imperialistic. I am an imperial, like my race in Oblivion. I am an imperial. But it's just a matter of context when it comes to doing something like making Cuba fall. Is it just going to be like a CIA thing? Like, okay, if it's that easy, we might as well just have done it already. Why haven't we done this?
That'll be an easy one. But it'll be the entire region that we're doing that. Many of you have come today and they say, I hope you can take care of Cuba because you've had problems with Cuba, right? You mentioned. I was surprised. But 4 of you said, actually, could you do us a favor? Take care of Cuba. I'll take care of it, okay?
Yeah, one of the first things I noticed when getting off the plane in Cuba, I'll tell you the first thing I noticed is that we landed on the runway and we got off, like stepped off like onto the tarmac. So it's not like a modern airport, right? It's like old school. How you like to like literally climb down out of the airplane, down some stairs, which is fine, right? But then as we walked towards the the terminal, there was food charity bins there labeled FOD. So that was already not a good sign. They're already asking tourists coming in for food donations. That was not a good first impression. And then we waited forever to get a taxi. And then when we were driving there, the taxi driver was explaining that all these like green metal hatches that you see along the sides of the road, and they were extremely numerous. You would see along the side of the road in Cuba, along most of like the major roads, is that you would see these metal green painted hatches, right? And what they're entrances to nuclear bunkers, right? And they're Soviet-made nuclear shelters is what they are, and they litter the roadsides. They're pretty small, but you can climb down into them and survive a nuclear apocalypse. So that was the first thing. Yeah, it wasn't the best trip overall. Not the best trip. I do not rate Cuba.
Is he better in Spanish or in English? I think he's better in Spanish. I mean, it's great. Pete, please.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I only speak American.
That's all right. I speak Cuban.
Well, Mr. President, it's an honor to be here and to establish in this hemisphere peace through strength. For far too long, our country's gaze was only on borders in far-flung places.
I don't know, maybe this is just a Canadian thing and we grow up kind of bilingual, but I really don't think it's like really that weird at all to be like bilingual and in politics. I feel like if you're in politics, it's a high society thing. If you're elite, you're educated, you should know multiple languages. Like, for instance, just for me at least, I got to brush up on my French because I'm planning a trip to France. Eventually, definitely going to France sometime, probably this year, maybe next year. Definitely going out there, gonna make some content. Check out France. What's going on? I'm trying to link up with the right wing across Europe. I'm just saying. So definitely brushing up on my French. Coming from Canada, we are taught French in school, so I don't really remember too much of it. I can kind of decipher barely what is being said in French news. That's the only time I actually consume anything in French now, is checking out what's going on with Macron, with France in general. It's pretty, it's a fascinating place. The fact that I'm part French. My dad was born in Quebec, so part French. I am fascinated with that. If I have to flee the country due to political reasons, Nick's talked about this. He says he's going to Vietnam, opening up a little burger spot or a coffee shop in Vietnam. I will be seeking political asylum in France. France has a history of giving people political asylum. Most famously, the first supreme leader of Iran.
Not our own border, not our own hemisphere, not the Western Hemisphere. President Trump has established the Trump corollary of the Monroe Doctrine, the Monroe Doctrine. And the War Department is implementing it as fast as we can. In fact, 2 days ago.
Yeah, it would have been better if we could get Greenland and Canada and Mexico and the Caribbean. Can we just like make all of that, literally all of that, into the United States? Last month, Tim Dillon roasted Jared Kushner. Awesome. I have a super dry sense of humor. Yeah, I love Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon's great. He's not right about everything, but he's definitely hilarious. Do I ever plan on running for political office? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Running or get appointed. I would like to be appointed Viceroy of Canada by Emperor Fuentes. No, I kid, of course. We're democratic over here. No, I never really. I don't know. I probably wouldn't do that. It'd screw up my life. You know, like it does with everybody. I guess I could win for sure. Just depends on where. I wouldn't run inside of Canada because Canada's rigged. There's no point in running inside of Canada. Like running in Canadian politics, it's just completely rigged. Candidates. Do I support Candace? Be the 51st state great? Damn. Do I support Candace be the 51st state? I mean, Candace being the 51st state? Listen, Candace. I don't really have feelings for Candace like Nick does. You know, he's, you know, they're separated and stuff. I just want to see the couple, you know, back together. That's all I care about. Yeah, Canada. Yeah, I definitely support Canada becoming the 51st state. I'm a big 51st stater. Like I was just saying, like, no, I probably wouldn't run for any political office in Canada. I'm obviously, I'm kind of, when it comes to Canadian politics, I'm kind of black-pilled, to be honest. I don't ever tell people to be black-pilled about anything, but I think overall Canadian politics are worthless to really fight over. Like, look at Pierre Poilievre, right? Sorry, I'm trying to get it to show these messages that it keeps blocking. Old Montreal is awesome. Great beer and vinegar on French fries and hot art chicks. Yeah, I haven't been to Montreal since I was a little kid, but it is pretty sick. It's hard to be a right-winger right now, and some right-wingers are still on the 2024 Trump is God mindset. It's like a religion. Yeah, that is ultimately the thing that we have to collapse in on itself. It is ultimately, you know, as much as we like the guy, you know, and there are still moments where I find Donald Trump to be endearing, I'm not going to lie. But I think that ultimately his character, what he has done with choosing this, it's ultimately evil. What he has done with just choosing this war is put him with the enemy camp, right? It ultimately is what it is, right? You know, he chose the adversary, right? That is what it is. He chose the side of Israel. It's your first Jewish president, right? Our first Jewish president, you know? So yeah, a lot of the people that think Trump is God, they are delusional. They are sick in the head. All you can do is try to bring them to our side. That's all you can do. Don't hate them. You know, you got to bring them to the far right, though. And sadly, the only way to do that, you got to tell them, we have to vote Democrat this time. We have to burn Trump and J.D. Vance to the ground. The Republican establishment needs to burn to the ground. There's no way around it. You know, how bad was your life really under Democrats? And Kamala Salad for president? Yeah, she's the queen of word salads, right? That's why I never thought she was a big threat. She's so low IQ. I'll never vote Democrat ever. I just won't vote. Okay. I mean, you can try that, but the reality is you not voting doesn't really hurt the Republicans. So what does hurt them is a vote for the opposite team. So this is just realpolitik. This is just what has to be done. Like I said, how bad was your life under Obama or Biden, Harris? Was it really that bad? Why would I hurt what I am? It's like, brother, I don't know how many different ways to explain this. You know, if your endorsement is important, then endorse people who are better, not people who are worse. Well, that was why I was just ranting about Dave Smith, right? This lesser of two evils idea, you are still voting for evil, okay? So if you're like, well, I'm going to vote for JD Vance in 2028. Okay, well, just to stick it to the Democrats, right? We have, and the most important thing, it's like we all agree, right, that this question, right, this Jewish question, this Jewish war and this war for, on the Jewish holiday with the Israeli military against their ancient enemy, it was better. Trump destroyed my portfolio, got into this war. I probably got laid off due to his economic policies. My job landed though. Yeah, and no one wants to talk about how bad the economy is doing right now, how stupid the tariffs are, how poorly I am pro-tariff, don't get me wrong, but how poorly implemented these tariffs are with the on-off. Alexander was fighting Persia long before the Jews. True. He was white, and he actually won. Yeah. Why would I hurt what I am? Dude, if you think that, withholding your vote is really gonna hurt the Jewish establishment, I've got news for you, but they have, a million other people that will vote for Republicans. There's a lot of, support for this war among MAGA Republicans is, 99%. For registered Republicans, it's 86%. Alexander, the man who spread Western civilization to India. Is there any good movies about Alexander the Great? I've heard that movie Alexander sucks. I've always wanted to see a good movie about him, but I heard that one is really bad, isn't it? I don't like a lot of these historical movies that people glaze super hard, like Kingdom of Heaven. I am really not about Kingdom of Heaven. That shit is some leftist slop to me. All Europeans are so bad, so evil, and the Muslims, they're so holy and noble. Oh, total slop. Damn, you all sound like you're turning all into Democrats. Yeah, it's hiding your messages, bro. I don't know why. Turning into, bro, we're not saying that you should support Democrat policies. It's literally, this is just realpolitik. This is just strategy, right? It's you can focus on tactics all day long, but if you're not thinking about what strategy you're going to be using those tactics in, what is it even worth? I still have not watched the final cut by Oliver Stone. Is that about Alexander? The strategy to win 2028 with the right Republican. Listen, they have the Republican Party. You're going to keep getting these Lindsey Graham types. You're going to keep getting these JD Vance types. These guys are robots, dude. They have no opinions of their own. JD Vance was a never Trumper, and he's going to run on 2028 as the successor to make America great again. I'm sorry, but we're going to be how many years removed Like, Trump began his campaign in 2015, right? That means by 2028 will have been 13 years. 13 years into the MAGA movement. And look where we are. Literally nowhere. You're literally, you're worse, actually. I think if Kamala had won in 2024, we wouldn't have a war with Iran. I genuinely believe that if a Democrat won in 24, we would not have a war in Iran. Genuinely believe that. Way too unpopular with their base. Are you kidding me? The Democrats are already moving to say Israel is an apartheid state. Gavin Newsom, the #1 Democratic front runner, says Israel is an apartheid state. If you're voting for it, you're voting for the policy and everything about it. Dude, they are literally, you get nothing different. You get nothing different from the Republicans. How about the federal ban on abortion? We still haven't gotten that, right? Trump says he can't do it. No federal ban on abortion, right? No mass deportations. You get a war with Iran. No free speech. Remember, he campaigned on free speech? Well, we get free speech, except when it comes to anti-Semitism. I'm with you on Vote Dem this year, basically aligned with Nick. Nick wants Republicans reformed by 28. Yeah, and so I think it's funny, a lot of these Democrats, right? There's a pretty funny clip. There's this liberal Democrat podcast. I forget who it is, but really some guy who's just big with liberals, and they're talking about Nick. They're like, "What do you think?" Nick, what's the show? Nick Freitas. You guys know Nick Freitas? Frietas. But yeah, Nick Freitas. I think he's some kind of leftist or whatever. Kyle Kuklinski for sure. Yeah. What it was is Nick Freitas was explaining to his co-host. He was like, well, Nick is telling the Groypers to vote Democrat. Isn't that good if we're Democrats that we get the Groyper vote? And the co-host was just like, they are my enemy. I want nothing to do with them. They are Nazis. They are terrible. They are far right. Just total beta male, dude. Total beta male. It was a pretty funny response, but yeah, I mean, we're using you, right? The far right is going to use the Democrats to get what we want, right? Agora is an all-right historical movie, but unfortunately, Alexander Oliver Stone's movie isn't the best portrayal. But that could be subjective, I suppose. But I guess the final cut is as good as it gets. Well, I'll check out the final cut then, since a few of you guys have recommended it. Yeah. Kingdom of Heaven was so bad. Never seen such a limp hero as Orlando Bloom. I know, right? And the guy in real life, the main character in real life, is way more of a badass. I read about the guy that they based the character off of in Kingdom of Heaven, Orlando Bloom's character. His real story is 10 times better than the story in the movie. In the movie, he's portrayed as a total wimp. In real life, this guy's a total badass. He was conquering and shit. Totally based French man. That was back when French people were really, really on top of things. So, no, I'll definitely check out the recommendations, Julian. I appreciate them. I'm always looking for new movies. I love movies. So I appreciate any movie suggestions, really, that are good movies. I appreciate. It's frequently movie night around here. Probably will be again tonight after this. So what else we got? Oh, speaking of classical culture, Athens. So we got Wesley Winter. So we got Wesley Winter here. I've seen this guy before. He does some pretty good videos. He says Athens has fallen.
People are running. Jesus Christ. What is going on over here?
The Greek police doesn't even respect the Greek flag.
There won't be any justice. They control everything. They do whatever the fuck they want.
Whoa.
Oh my god, dude, what's going on in Greece? Are these police?
If you live in Greece and you want to protest,
That look like police on motorcycles, bro. Yeah. Just going right through here.
if you live in Greece and you want to protest, you got to have this. Has been arrested.
We are protesting here to overthrow the government. I think it's time.
So are they communists? Is that what's going on in Greece? I think it's the communists versus the nationalists, right? Is what's going on there, right?
February the 28th, 2023. Greece witnessed its deadliest train crash when a passenger train collided with a freight train, killing 57
Oh my god.
people.
57 people killed. That's horrible. Damn. Train collision? How does that even happen?
Country's deadliest ever train crash.
Now, where at least 43 people were killed and dozens more injured. It is bad. Head-on collision.
3 years on, many in Greece are still demanding answers.
Things go bad when Greece falls. LOL. This is truly the end times. I know, right? It's like literally the cradle of civilization, and it's descended into this, right?
Anniversary of the Tempe disaster, thousands take to the streets across the country in a nationwide
But I've heard that communism is really big, right?
strike. We head to Athens to see firsthand why the protests haven't stopped. Join me. Good afternoon, guys. We are here in Athens for the Tempe train crash protest. A national strike has been called across the country.
Wait, so they like the train crash anniversary became political? I'm not sure I follow.
Hundreds of thousands of people are going to come onto the streets today to remember the 57
Communists.
people that died in a horrific train crash. Justice still hasn't been served. Next month, it's said that the trial is meant to begin. It's taken 2 years to do that, but we'll speak to people on the ground here, find out why they're here and what this protest really means to them.
Yeah, there's got to be like another reason why they're so upset, just because like a train crashes.
Go. About your sign, what this sign says.
The meaning behind it is that two trains 3 years ago collided, and it wasn't an accident. It was the process of at least 30 years of not sustaining the train tracks and the trains themselves, and it cost us 57 lives.
I've heard this from Greek people that the country has really not been maintained very well at all. It's like degraded over years, and then they have the migrant crisis. Like Greece had their economic crisis, and then they had the migrant crisis like back to back. The worst economy in Europe, plus bearing literally the brunt of North African and Middle Eastern migrants, mass migration.
You see, our railway is old. It's about 100 years old, something like that. We never had such an accident. I mean, like this.
So for many people, it's a normal day. They left.
It is kind of ridiculous. I see what he means. How it's like it is ridiculous. How does that happen? Where like two trains are like collide on the same track, like that does that just means your country is not functioning like whatsoever, right?
Things to go to another city.
It's like the symptom of a symptom of a larger problem, right? Is what they're trying to get at.
And next thing you know, that they're gone.
Well, it was actually 3 days of holidays. So many people were finishing the holidays. They were taking this train, to go home or to go to the city that they are studying. So that's why this train was full of young people and students.
Oh, wow. So it's full of young people, too. So it's just doubly worse. How do the trains not see each other miles away and not stop? I don't know, right? Like, is the infrastructure that bad there? Like, how does that, like, that's what I'm like trying to understand here. It's like, how does like no one stop the trains?
I'll tell you about this sign here.
We are students. We are protesting today from our universities. Over here, you can see it writes, it tells they're killed. They killed 57 people. The New Democracy government has to pay. They have the complete guilt for this crime.
So, guys, many students are behind me right now. They've come from the universities. Obviously, the 57 people who were killed, majority were students. And here they have a huge sign that says killers. A lot of people want justice.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is like such a crazy mistake. Clearly, I mean, some of them say it's intentional. I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but intentional in the sense that you didn't maintain the tracks whatsoever, the infrastructure. Yeah, I mean, people could see this probably happening in the future. I'm sure people warned about something like this happening, right?
Which they haven't got. They want to know
We'll
the
get to
truth as
that.
well. What truly happened? Why did the so-called accident take place? And that's why you see all these signs from various students here.
They keep saying so-called accident as if this is like planned or something like that. Probably engineers were on TikTok. Jeez. Imagine.
So guys, here you get the real scale of the protest. You have the government building just behind.
They imprisoned all the Golden Dawn Party senior members. R.I.P. Greece. Yeah, I don't know too much about the Golden Dawn, but they're far right, aren't they?
Behind me, but look at the sea of people just here, flooded the streets. You can just see how much it means to the Greek people. This tragedy really affected the whole country, brought it to a standstill, and just look at the crowd of people. I've never seen anything like it. All just standing very peacefully behind me. Now it's 3 years later.
Yeah, I can see why this would bring a lot of people out. This is such a ridiculous tragedy to happen. You just have to, your average person just goes, how does this even possible in my system?
Do you believe anything has changed since then?
No, actually no. They haven't done anything, and they constantly say it's going to get better, but it never gets better. It's the same.
Are you confident that anything will change if you come every year?
If we keep fighting, I'm confident that everything will change, because only if we are united, we can change the world.
Tomorrow, they will say that everybody here, we are a minority, we are communists, we are leftists.
Okay, well, buddy, you're kind of at a communist rally, right? Everyone will say that we're communists and that we're leftists. Yeah, we don't stand in front of the communist flag. If you don't want to be, that's the thing too. It's like, I get that you might not personally be a communist, but just move away.
We want to throw the government down. This has nothing to do with Mitsotakis or the government, whether they are Nea Demokratia, PASOK, Syriza, because it's not only their fault. This is a mistake that has been happening for 10 years or something. It's not a problem about left or...
Well, that's the thing too, is that oftentimes socialists and like leftists will diagnose a problem correctly, but then their solution is just completely wrong. It's like going to a crazy doctor. So the doctor can figure out what's wrong with you, but a solution? I don't know if you want to really try that, homie. Chat, what's my best way to leverage EU dual citizenship? I received Italian a year ago, but never even been there aside from Dublin for work. Don't like sideways cold rain. I mean, I'm going to say Portugal because they have a good tax regime. And I don't know, I'm kind of French sided because I'm like part French. So I'm going to say France. But definitely if you're like trying to like money max, I don't know, like it depends on what you're trying to do, right? Are you trying to money max? You know?
Right. It's about the people.
Like, are you trying to like Riz? You know, like what are you trying to do out there? You know, because I'm trying to get it to France, bro.
That died.
So guys, I've been speaking to a lot of people. They're basically just frustrated about what is going on in the country. They believe this train tragedy was a deeper issue with government corruption. But what I want to show you now is this gate right here. Last year, Antifa militant groups stormed this area. There was Molotov cocktails that were thrown.
Yeah, you can see the burn marks on the ground here. Yeah, so I've heard the far left is really strong in Greece. It seems to be like quite the problem.
The police guards, this is the main point where things do happen. I've been told after the speeches by survivors and those who are frustrated with the system are finished, this is where it could get quite sticky. You see some marks, I don't know if that's from last year, but it's heavily guarded. You've got 20, 30 officers here. Some look like they're like riot police or some sort of army uniform at least. But
I hate like the blasting rap music in public, dude. Can we make it a crime to like blast rap music in public? Like, I don't want to hear like literally any rap music in public, please. Let's fix this real quick. There we go, it's good.
Yeah, I heard it does get quite crazy, guys. Moments away from it all starting and really building up. Can you tell me who's the girl on the sign?
Elizabeth was a student of me. She was an excellent mezzo-soprano. She
This
was
is her teacher. This is one of the victims' teachers.
studying opera. She was taking care as well, also my daughter.
So you knew personally one of the victims involved in...
Yes, she was in that weekend. She was in Athens, and then she took that train. We don't trust, and we don't travel with the train anymore.
Since then, no one takes the train now.
No, me as a normal.
Yeah, I wouldn't take the train either. If this happened in my country, I would never take the train again. Are you kidding me? No, I mean, at a certain point, you have to get over your fear, right? So much for police state, thugs run free. I wonder why. They still haven't gotten to like the reason of why this happened, right?
Many friends of me, we don't take this train. We don't trust them.
How have you felt taking public transport? Like, do people take it less now because of what happened? Do they feel more unsafe?
Things have definitely changed, for sure. I mean, I don't know anybody. Like, few people will take the train to go up to Thessaloniki. Since what happened, I think everybody has some second thoughts.
So, guys, just here is the...
Yeah, it's just like affected their entire psychology there. Like, I could totally see that because it's such a ridiculous thing to happen. Like, how does a cargo train slam into a passenger train like that? Like, head on. It doesn't make... Like, your country has to be extremely dysfunctional for this to be even possible.
Poster that was plastered all around Athens throughout the whole week leading up to the protest. Got a sign here showing train traps and money. People believe that the government didn't put the right infrastructure in place that would have prevented the train crash. People believe they chose profits over human lives. And that's what you're seeing here with this post that's on every other lamppost across the city. I read online as well, with this case, they're trying to hide the evidence of the train crash and things like this. They're trying to...
That started from the start of the accident.
Well, of course, right? Everyone who's involved, everyone who is responsible, they get off scot-free. I'm sure the people that were in charge of the maintenance of the tracks and how the system worked, I bet no one's really looking at them or investigating them. I mean, it's horrible, really, right? The government just investigates itself and finds itself not guilty. Like, once again, obviously.
Yeah, of the accident.
You don't believe it's an accident?
No, I don't believe it's an accident, because you can't say it's an accident when it was something that was bound to happen, when the systems weren't at all developed and everyone said it wasn't safe. And the politicians just ignored it and said if we told people that it's not safe, they wouldn't get in the trains.
Many people who work on reveal the...
Yeah, if we told people that the trains weren't safe, they wouldn't get on the trains. This goes to show, like, there is such an extreme rot somewhere in Greek society, or say, I should say, deep in Greek society, there is an extreme rot, and this is what ends up happening, right?
Case work for the constitution, so it's not fair.
So you feel like it's a cover-up?
Yeah, it's a cover-up.
A lot of people I've spoken to today, they said the government is covering up the incident. Do you believe this is true as well?
There should be something behind. There should be something behind. Yes, I do believe that there is something behind. I don't know exactly what, but there is something behind. It's recently the event happened in Spain. We saw that this explosion, for example,
another one?
Didn't happen. It was quite similar, but...
I heard about this one. This happened not too long ago, right? Man. Yeah, train derailments are one of those scary things that you have no control over, right? It just happens to you.
Similar explosion to the one that our trains had. So why? There are questions that haven't been answered. And
yeah, it's like, so she's saying that it's like similar trains, right?
There are things that we need to investigate further. No, I don't trust.
AI blocked me for talking smack about UK. Yeah, a lot of people wonder how the YouTube censorship algorithm actually works, and it is country dependent. So if you are in Germany, which has like very, very strict, or UK has very, very strict hate speech guidelines, varying levels. Canada, where I am, has pretty strict hate speech. So people often ask me like, oh, well, why do I have to censor my words or this and that when I upload videos? It's like, it's not just that YouTube has double standards on which country you're from. You also have to keep in mind that there are laws in different countries. Not every country has the First Amendment. You guys might do some deep dives yourselves into free speech in Canada. We don't really have free speech. It's just the reality of the matter. So people go to jail, people get fined for saying the wrong thing, saying wrong thing. You put yourself in serious legal jeopardy outside of the United States. So I want American viewers to know that not everywhere is free. Lot of places, right? You can be put before literally a human rights tribunal and be put in jail or be fined an obscene amount of money. So Canada, aka North Korea, pretty much. Honestly, bro, it might be better to be in North Korea at some point. I'm in the USA, but can't say UK is an issue. Yeah, no, it's outside of the United States. It's still bad within. Don't get me wrong, the censorship is still bad in the United States, but outside in the rest of the West, it is much, much worse. So if you're a content creator, you know, in the West, the non-United States, Western countries, you do actually have to watch yourself, especially if you're in Germany. And it depends on the thing too. If you're in Germany, it's really, really tight about the anti-Semitic stuff, quote unquote anti-Semitic stuff. Here in Canada, it has a lot more to do with the gay stuff, the trans stuff. Yes, Canada does not have a First and Second Amendment. Yes, we don't really even have really any rights. You could say that. Legally speaking, we don't actually really have rights, and that's really for another time.
The way the situation has been handled.
There was an explosion. That does not happen many times when they collide.
Also, most likely the other train was carrying illegal.
Yeah, people don't understand. Like, it's literally built into like our human rights now, like our Bill of Rights, the civil rights like law. Saying anything derogatory about transgender or gay people in Canada can get you in like serious legal trouble. So you do actually have to watch yourself when it comes to the gay mafia. Yeah, they have gay rights, not human rights. Absolutely. Yeah, it is actually serious in Canada. You can go to jail for talking bad about the trannies. It is what it is. Now, it doesn't stop me. I talk about the transgender mass shooter, all these people all the time. It doesn't stop me, but you have to keep in mind, guys, it's not like America.
And the government wants to hide that, and it's clear. So, you know, people don't trust the government after this stuff.
They haven't even said, I'm sorry, nothing.
Or that it is their fault. They're just trying to cover it up.
They should have quit, but they haven't done that. That's inhumane. Respect. Yes. Yeah. I don't think they're humans.
Alright, guys. So good.
I don't think they're humans. Yeah, sometimes I feel like that about a lot of people, girls. I definitely sympathize with what those girls feel.
Have told me.
You know, the Jews were kind of on the right track in this idea that some people don't have souls. I'm just saying, it's kind of fire. All right. Which political party controls Greece? I'm not sure, really.
People are coming every year
really
that after the speeches happens, that's when it all sort of kicks off. I've been given by a local one of these, and apparently when the smoke goes into your lungs, you just take this, and this should keep me safe. I haven't bought the helmet and goggles and mask today, so we'll have to make do. But yeah, look behind me, guys. It is getting busier and busier. I've been told it's not as busy as last year, but busy enough. I mean, check it out here. Here, you can get a real idea of all the signs.
Damn, dude, there's a lot of communists out here. This is pretty disconcerting when I see the amount of communists that are out in Greece right now. I know they have a strong leftist tradition out there. This is not looking good, dude. You know, and then they're shutting down the far-right party and allowing the communists to take over the streets. Not looking good for Greece.
Obviously, they're all in Greek, so no idea what they say. But the message from everyone is clear that they're showing solidarity for the 57 that were killed. They also want justice as well, and they're sending a message to the government right outside this government building here. What's this sign everyone has over here?
I mean, so far, you know, it's not super chaotic. It's not super crazy. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a kind of atmosphere that is going to hold. It does not seem like... I don't know, when you have communists out in the streets, it generally descends into chaos and violence.
The sign says government of murderers. We are protesting against the system, which makes everything profit. The trains, basically they were privatized. We see this policy of privatization everywhere, in the schools, in the hospitals and stuff. So we are protesting here to overthrow the government. I think it's time to do it, and we can do it.
Do you believe this will be a peaceful...
Like Deckard in Blade Runner, is anyone run for office or position of power, you should have to be screened by a psychologist to weed out cluster B personality disorder people like replicants. Yeah, I just doing like psychology to like bar people from political power or positions of power. I don't know. I just can't really get behind that because it's obviously just going to be used on you, right? I get the reference though.
Protest today?
Yes, I think that probably the only violence that it's about to happen, it's going to be from the government side.
So she said it's privatized. The reason that this happened is because it's privatized, right? So it's like you can already tell the left over there is seizing and using economic arguments to say that why this happened. I have a hunch that this didn't happen because of what they're saying, all right? Hopefully AI can do it in the future. Place I hear psychopath. I don't know. I don't really trust AI with that either, though.
Police violence happens a lot.
Yes, and you see there are people with their children and families and everything, and I don't see how this is a threat most of the time to the police.
So guys, just behind me, you do have firefighters as well as like militant kind of police. This guy's ready for it. He's got his mask on, full gear. You got some ladies who are having a go at some of the kind of anarchist groups as they're faced up in masks. She's kind of yelling at them over there. The kind of speeches are dwindling down now. Not that much police though. I thought there would be more. Maybe they just let it go. Who knows? Some lads just here.
Yeah, like this idea that this was caused by privatization of the railways, it just doesn't make sense. She didn't explain that. Well, how did it lead to the accident? No explanation. I feel like it's probably something else they're leaving out.
To the fire brigade and to the police. It's very calm at the minute. It feels like the calm before the storm. Before we continue here in Athens, real quick. In these videos, I'm on the ground hearing people's stories. But did you know you can find out by
like that jump ahead feature. YouTube should have added that a long time ago.
Mask and goggles. I haven't got mine. Let's see if I'll live to regret it. We'll find out. But a lot of people have come prepared, as you can tell. The main protest is dispersing a lot of the families and also children that are here today.
It's a large crowd, man. So I guess like the far left is very big over there, right? Psychology profession is nearly fully occupied by at least the center left. Yeah, absolutely. It's a liberal profession, right? The people who invented psychology were liberals, right? It was this kind of blank slateism that it came from. Now, and just as Christians, right, as, you know, if you're under the Catholic order, yeah, there is like some suspicion of psychologists and stuff like that. But I think people with mental health really should get the help they need. I don't think we should really try to stigmatize that too hard.
But I feel like this protest is going to take a turn for the worse. Will it turn violent?
The same with the Royal Mail was so bad under government control, now worse under private. Yeah, I guess. Just not really my experience here.
A lot of people hurrying as they go. This guy's covered all in blue paint. Look at him. Bloody hell. Guys, you come here every year?
Yeah.
What was it like last year? Does it get quite crazy? I see you got the gas mask on.
Last year was crazy.
Yeah, what are you expecting now? What do you think will happen?
I think they're preparing to throw Molotov.
Yeah. You think they're going to throw some Molotovs?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
They're preparing to throw the Molotovs. That's not good. And like, what is... Okay, so I see this sticker on his helmet here is an an anvil with lightning bolts striking it. Interesting. Interesting. Send your psychologist to a psychologist, and the prescription is a sex change. Absolutely right, Iron Hammer Forge. Yeah, it's like holding comments or some shit.
Take some cover because...
Yeah.
Base sticker
guys, I
at least.
didn't get the memo. Literally everyone I've met here has a full-on mask.
I feel like that's some kind of communist imagery. I don't know exactly what that is. Like an anvil with lightning striking it. I feel like it could be fascist. It could be communist. I don't really know.
This crowd are getting look a bit lively.
Kind of ambiguous, right?
They've got this like white paint on their eyes to protect themselves from the tear gas. I got given some sort of like bloody juice or something to take if anything gets in my lungs.
The red flag says it all. Yep.
So all the communists
the
are leaving.
workers' revolution.
Over here. And it seems like these guys are staying. They're the only ones that are staying. And there's a good probably 100 of them just behind me.
Chase Hughes from the behavior panel, body language experts, and psychological operations propaganda said, "We should not let a story become more important than people." Interesting. I like my therapist, though. He escaped the Soviet Union and worked in tech before joining psych. Yeah. Yeah, they can be, like, nice people and stuff. And they're also interesting people because they just study, you know, psychology all day long. So, can be interesting, but you can also kind of be smelling your own farts all day long, too.
You see behind me, you got a couple of the lads giving the fingers to the police. They're in the distance with riot shields as well. Last year they threw Molotov cocktails. Who knows what's going to happen right now? They're being thrown, people are running. Jesus Christ. What is going on over here?
I'm gonna utilize my my
So
standing
everyone's
desk.
starting to disperse from this side. Seems like some motorbikes are here. The motorbikes are coming in. Things are getting locked. Whoa. Things are getting locked
You guys are
left,
getting
right.
raised up,
he's
so I
got the
gotta
officer.
stand up. Sitting for many hours.
Things are getting lobbed. Whoa! Jesus Christ! Bikes are coming in.
Hey, don't take the Lord's name in vain, dude. Come on.
Whoa, here we go, they're starting to run. The bikes are here. Someone whacked an officer, but they're whacking someone.
Yeah, this is chaos. You can already tell, like, when communists show up, the day turns into chaos, right? Like, they show up and they start banging on stuff. They're saying, well, we're protesting this and that. And then as the day goes on, as evening, as the afternoon comes along, things get violent. That's what we see. And this is the left, right? The left does this. This is part of basically their operations manual, right? They will get out in front of the cameras, get the good PR of, you know, we're just holding signs, we're just standing out front of City Hall. And then as evening comes, that's when the violence really starts. And that's when their true face comes out.
The police are getting very violent here. A family's in the corner. The bikes have gone right. Army are staying to the left. The bikes on this side are blocking the road. We're making sure people go. Got these guys on these bikes, as you can see. All this happened very suddenly.
Like, you can't really have tourism here, right? If you have this kind of stuff going on. Like, Greece makes a lot of their money through tourism. And if you have communists rioting in the streets, I don't understand how you're going to have tourism or any sort of business going on.
We hear some explosions in the distance, guys. We'll keep going that way. Yeah, look at these guys all dressed up. People are swearing at the riot police here. Whoa, it is going off, guys, down there. Whoa. More guys are coming in. These guys are fuming behind me. Oh, this has happened all of a sudden. These guys are...
Everyone's yelling at the police. I don't know, man. It seems like the police are just trying to keep the situation under control right now.
Proper giving it. The bikes are on. Two on the bike. Army blocked off that side.
Just getting on the sidewalk there, I see.
Let's follow them. The bikes are doing laps.
And the thing is, all this chaos just generally attracts more shitheads, right? Isn't the doctor supposed to take his shirt off too? Original funny needs to set up? Yeah.
Sirens going off on different buildings. Bloody hell. They're making sure everyone disperses. They had the riot police behind me, blocking parts off. I came down this way earlier. Where we're
Wesley, man, just doing this to get the content. You know, I'm a bit of a desktop jester myself, so I always appreciate these guys that go into the field and, you know, they get the footage to react to. Honestly, going to like communist brawls where the police are, I mean, we've seen that all before too many times. Paris is like that every day, you know. So if you want to see that, you can just go to Paris, right?
Right now is towards an Antifa neighborhood called Izathia. It's like Antifa stronghold. But yeah,
I just went to play tear gas tag at Denver Summer of Love. Absolutely, dude.
Look at this, guys. All the bikes behind me. Look at the Patriots, guys, with their flags. Oh, we knocked down the flag.
So the cops are knocking down the Greek flag. That is friggin' weird. What is going on? So are the cops just like leftists? Is that what's going on here? Do you have like a leftist government and we just like have leftists in the police force that are attacking nationalists?
This guy dressed up in the Palestine kit.
The bikers are leftists with
flag,
Antifa.
Eh?
It's our flag and they're not
I mean, it seems like that's how the police are handling it.
even respect it.
There we go.
The Greek police doesn't even respect the Greek flag.
You heard it there, guys. You saw it. They've gone in
No,
different
they're
groups,
police.
guys. I don't know where everyone is.
The people on motorcycles are police, in fact.
But the key is just to hear the loud bangs when you hear that. That's probably where people are going. E-scooters on the ground here. Bins are overfilling. Beautiful Greek architecture. The streets could turn into chaos. You have the commies here with their red flags of unions.
God, just the loud rabble of communists on the streets, dude. I'd lock these people up completely.
The police are right at the end now. These guys are continuing walking, but I don't know where the anarchists and all the young lads have gone. Can't hear them either. All right, guys, the bikes are back. I wonder who they're actually looking for. There they go. Look at this, guys. They're clearing out the...
So they just go right onto the sidewalks, the cops, and to arrest people. They chase people down on the sidewalks with motorcycles. Like, I feel like that's pretty friggin' dangerous to do that. Like, you just, like, run over somebody or like, you could hurt somebody doing that very easily. It's not, I don't know. I don't think it's very smart to do.
Inside all the shops. Look at that. The pigs. There's more to my right. All on the left. Here they go. Whoa! Flares everywhere, guys.
Crazy, bro. The cradle of civilization, really. Like the birthplace of European civilization.
They're coming in. They're getting off their bikes. They're choosing whether to stay or go. But they run them over. They're searching. The police versus the communists. What will happen, guys? They're revving their engines.
They're gonna do a charge, aren't they? They're gonna like try to break up the crowd, I think, right?
The communists are going to block the road. The army are behind them. The guy with the blue lights giving the orders. The commies have won. They're turning around.
They're retreating? Dude, you got enough motorcycles. If you went through that crowd, everyone would scatter.
1-0 to the communists. 1-0 to the communists. They're swinging left. Bombs going off on the other side.
I mean, yeah, this is deeply concerning. Look at all the graffiti. Look how crappy this has become. Like, I don't think this is the image that people think of Greece in their head. Like, I've wanted to go to Greece for a long time, but I don't think of like this when I think of Greece. Now I do. After I see this video, I'm thinking about this.
So one guy has been arrested here, guys. So they're picking people off on the side. One guy just here has been stopped. There's another just here. Wow, keep our distance. One guy's been arrested. Check it out.
And
So
the
if you
streets are
stop-
just so dirty too. Like, what is with it?
And searches are going on just here. Seen about 5, 6 arrests so far. So they're lining some guys up by the wall, searching their bags and everything. Yeah, guys, we don't know what they've done.
This feels like we're looking at a country that's turning into a failed state. Like, that's what it seems like. Are there nationalists at the protests? We saw a few people with Greek flags, but they're few in numbers, and they got their flags like taken from, you know, the police batted down the guy's flag. So Seems like there's nationalists there, but very few in numbers. I don't even know if they're really nationalists. They're just like Greek people waving flags.
What's he saying?
Against the communists.
What's he saying?
Settle down, silicato. It means to settle down. Settle down where, but...
So yeah, look on this side, all the police are here. Hey bro, no camera? Okay. In Greece...
I know, cradle of the West, right? Like this is... Man, it is so depressing to see, like fellow European countries just fall, man.
Film the police on there.
Fellow European, I mean, Europeans.
I don't know.
Not in Europe.
Don't deal with them.
Yeah.
You can record.
Okay. So you're being told not to film. You can film, but this is not the time and place to start kicking off with police.
What did they tell you?
Pardon?
What did they say to you about the camera?
No film. Don't film the police.
No. It's illegal just to say this.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's perfectly legal. But be careful.
Yeah, and cops over here in like North America and the rest of Europe, they'll try to pull this stuff all the time, dude. It's like widely known that you can record pretty much anytime, anywhere if you're out in public, and cops will still try this stuff. Everywhere in Europe and North America, they'll try to be like, oh, you can't film. It's ridiculous.
The police are corrupt, eh? No filming, apparently. You can film. The locals have said it. But more police have gone down this way. Should we go check it out? Yeah. So guys, what we're trying to do is just see where the police are going down little roads and just follow them. That usually means they're going to make an arrest. Back in the...
Hey, bro, I appreciate your trying to write jokes. You know, I was friends with a comedian for a while, so I understand trying to get your comedy career off the ground. I totally get it, bro.
Main Parliament Square, where the protests did begin. What we're seeing now is that some protesters have blocked the road. The police are coming in. There was a memorial just over here. Fucking hell, where are we going? They are coming in. They're starting to push people, trying to make the crowd disperse. Still got a few lads who look
It's
at
just so sad, man, how like a great country like Greece can fall to this, man. And like the amount of struggles Greek people have been through for the past few hundred years, really. I mean, it goes all the way back to being subjugated by the Ottomans too. Super messed up.
Tasty. We could start something. So what we're seeing now, the police are actually putting on their gas masks. We didn't see that earlier, but they're all lined up just over here, one by one. Traffic's going one way, no one's going down this road here.
It's been like this in Greece for the last century. Yeah, I mean, you had to go through like 400 years of Ottoman occupation, and then there was Nazi Germany that would control you, and then like Cold War, you're just completely screwed. Poor, like super poor.
Interesting. This guy's got his mask on. Now, mate, did you see the police do anything here?
The police today have been relatively mild.
Yeah.
I'm sure that this is on purpose. It's been okay so far, honestly.
Do you think it could get worse a bit later?
Well, he's got the Greek colors on the pole. He's got the crucifix. He's got black and white going on. I don't speak Greek, so I don't know what that says.
You think it's quite calm?
No, it's gonna calm down, I think.
So he might be. This might be a patriot, guys. This might be a Greek patriot, a Greek nationalist here.
As the remaining that they're trying to get us out, and that's it.
Yeah, but today you're very prepared. You have this gas mask, eh?
Of course, always. They throw chemicals to little children on strollers. Me, I got no chance. If you live in Greece and you want to protest, you got to have this. Essential for Greece.
So guys, they're taking some...
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I'm not a big protester. I don't really think you should go down to protests like that unless it really, really matters. But I don't know. I'm not a big protest guy.
Pictures with the police officers. One lad's got some grenade in his hand.
True. Free Palestine. Fuck Israel. Big time.
Friendly fire.
They're like hitting each other with stuff now. It's just like loser activity. You're just gonna take like a 2x4 and throw it at the cops. You're literally accomplishing nothing.
Alright guys, looks like the oranges are coming out now. They're all grabbing fruit from the tree and lobbing it at the police. Alright guys, so the police are now retaliating after Things were getting lobbed. Those oranges.
It's just a total shit show. Like, nothing is going to get done in this country whatsoever. I see why Greek people are so frustrated with the state of their country.
And water bottles. Here they go. The lads are egging each other on.
I don't even think we ever actually got to why that train accident happened. Like, we're still kind of in the dark as to the physical mechanism that caused that accident.
Things are getting thrown at the police. Things are getting lobbed left, right, and
I
centre.
vote we pronounce the word essential the way that Greek dude just did. Absolutely. No, Greek people are based, man. I love Greek people. I love Greek food.
Everyone's running through the trees now. The police aren't charging them though. Let's go through here, see what's happening. People are grabbing these oranges from the tree. Let's go. Oh, where'd we go? You know, out of nowhere.
Ready?
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah. The police are ready to grab anyone. This guy's charging. This guy's on the run. So they got these.
Yeah, and just causing like chaos like this in the streets is like, dude, do you have like? I guess no one has jobs here, right? That must be a big factor in all of this. I've heard Greece has had a huge unemployment problem for many years now, for well over a decade, right?
These officers who are just patrolling the streets with the bikes. Police are telling people to move. The leftists are getting barged. One girl's on the ground. Things are getting thrown still. The guy in the blue.
It's the screaming Greek girl. Like, oh my god.
Just over there, the light blue. He's been grabbed. Might be one of the lads who are throwing some oranges.
I mean, you know, you're getting up to hooligan activities, you're gonna get arrested, right? It does feel kind of third worldy and kind of cheap to be riding around motorcycles. Like, I get it. It's not like the same place as here, but I know it's Europe and stuff. It's the Mediterranean, but man, you're forced riding. It reminds me of Venezuela. Is actually what it reminds me of.
Look at that, lads. So they're getting basically like a undercover taxi or something out of the protest in some banged up old car. This is a sort of undercover police or something.
Damn, the undercover cops show up in a total beater. Honestly, this country is needing some repair. Yeah.
In Athens alone, 178 people were arrested, with 11 people charged. While it wasn't as violent as previous years, the police were definitely more prepared this time around. However, the anger over the temporary train disaster clearly hasn't gone away. The trial is due to begin on March the 23rd. The question now is whether the families of the 57 victims and the thousands who took to the streets today will finally get the answers they've been demanding for 3 years. We'll have to wait and see. And thanks.
No, it's like horrible, right? Like, obviously, you want people to get to the bottom of this, right? That's what I think, right? I used to check out the Jimmy Dore show because I always liked his politics, humor, but the guy was such a buzzkill after a while. He seems like he was a sad sack yelling all the time. Yeah. Like, we make fun of Jimmy Dore for being like, you know, total stoner or whatever. But the real reason that us groypers not super big on him is that he scheduled a interview with Nick Fuentes, and then he canceled on him last minute. So the day of, Nick was supposed to join Jimmy Dore on his show, The Jimmy Dore Show, which streams on YouTube and Rumble, I believe, other places. And literally an hour before Nick was supposed to do the show, Jimmy says, "Oh, I can't have you on today. We'll have to do it another day because I didn't do my research." Okay? Jimmy is insinuating, he says, "I didn't do my research." Okay. Well, fast forward all these months later, right? And it comes out that Jimmy Dore's Jewish producer aborted the interview. When the producer found out that Jimmy Dore is going to be interviewing anti-Semite Oy vey Fuentes, then Jimmy got cold feet. Total coward. Total pussy. Total pussy. So, yeah, Jimmy Dore. And, you know, I appreciated his, you know, he's been talking about Israel for a while. But, you know, let's be real. He's a coward. He's not funny. And he spat on Alex Jones, and then he lied about it, too. So you guys don't know about that lore. Pull that up real quick. Yeah, if you guys see that. Yeah, here we go.
No, Jake, relax. Hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass. We talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time. Shit. What do you think, the lizard people are in charge? No. Is that what you think? Now you're pissed. We're kissing your ass. Is that what you think? You're the anti-liberal and you're pissed. Bullshit. We're being nice here. You know what I care about? I care about the American people. Good.
So here's Cenk over here on the left, and here's Alex on the right. Here comes Jimmy. Do you see Jimmy right here in the sunglasses? You can see that right there. He spits on Alex. Rerun that. There he is. There you go. You see that? Spits on Alex Jones. And then years later goes on to lie about it. No shame. No shame. So cowardly. Yeah, total punk, right? I like how he's still using the mic, lol. Yeah. Alex is a legend when he's not drinking. Even when he is drinking, he goes super hard. I love Alex, man. Alex was like the original red pill for me, dude. Love Alex Jones. What a crazy exchange. I love how this just clip starts out with Cenk Uyghur, whatever, how you were saying, Uyghur. I love how it starts off with Cenk just like screaming at Alex Jones's face.
No, Jake, relax. Hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass. We talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time. Shit. What do you think, the lizard people are in charge? No. Is that what you think? Now you're pissed.
The lizard people are in charge. Is that what you think? Honestly, I kind of rate Cenk for going off this hard because he didn't, you know, I think didn't Alex like interrupt his show or something like that? But Jimmy coming out of like the side to spit on Alex, it's like, oh my god. Yeah, Building 7, Alex, yeah. No, all that early stuff, man, I found out from Alex Jones. That's why I love the guy, bro. He's great guy.
Hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia.
No, Cenk, relax. Yeah, Cenk's trying to be tough for the camera. Yeah, come on, but it's energy. You gotta give Cenk the points for actually getting viral.
No, Jake, relax.
No, Cenk, relax.
Hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass. We talk about that all the time. Shit.
It's like Ben. This guy's name is Ben, right? He's like holding Cenk back. It's all so staged. It's so funny.
The lizard people are in charge? No. Is that what you think? Now you're pissed. We're kissing your ass. Is that what you think? You're the anti-liberal and you're pissed. Bullshit. We're being nice here. You know what I care about? I care about the American people. Good. You're the one flipping out.
Alex just keeps his mic going. How tall is Alex? I'm thinking Alex is pretty tall. I think Alex is at least 6 feet, right? He's a big guy, I think. Yeah, literally committed assault on Alex Jones. Yep. This was at like a YouTube convention or something like that. I think there was like a YouTube convention like a decade ago. Yeah, description doesn't say. Google says 5'10". That's wild because his neck is a total bulldog. Yeah, I mean, it's close enough, right? No, I kid, of course. 5'10" is definitely not 6 feet. But he is definitely a big guy, right? I mean, Alex said lizard people. He was pretty close. Psychopaths are described like lizards. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, with some people not being unsold, that's definitely true, right? Some people, I think some people not being people is definitely a real thing, right? Yeah. Got that Brock Lesnar neck and head? You know it, brother. Just that neck that makes your voice sounds like the Arbiter from Halo. And you're just like that kind of voice. Yeah. Classic clip. Classic clip. Well, I'm getting mad hungry, guys. Oh, you finally got the message to appear, bro. You finally got the message to appear. YouTube is going really hard with the censoring. Very, very hard with the censoring. All right, guys. We're going over 3 hours, 20 minutes. I think we're good. Yeah, I gotta eat something, man. I'm starving. I came on stream, just like pounded a Red Bull. Early on Loose Change, Lou Rockwell, Electronic Intifada. You watch Sam Hyde? Yeah, I love Sam Hyde, dude. Sam Hyde's based. I love his... Shit. Sam Hyde's great. Thanks. Yeah, Sam is like one of the funniest guys. I will say, like, I do appreciate how Sam just... He'll try new things, even if it's not really funny. Yeah, sissy liberal men pretending to be strong men. No, yeah, I totally agree with you, bro. I know, you finally got YouTube to finally show your message. You know, I'm gonna look into this, why YouTube is holding so many messages. It's probably because I got like a channel warning for being too based. But what was I saying? Yeah, Sam Hyde. Yeah, I like how Sam will he'll try stuff which is clearly not hitting. Like if he makes like a funny thing, which he usually does, you know, I love it. But it's always his stuff that doesn't hit, or it shows his true character, which I love. Right? Or it's like he makes like a stupid skit no one really finds funny but himself, but he'll still make it anyways. All for the love of the game. Yeah. No, I love Sam Hyde. Great comedian. And from all I've heard, he's a great guy, right? So, no, I watch Sam Hyde a lot. One of the funniest dudes out there. No, I know, bro. Promethean updates, bro. I'll check it out. Don't worry. Take all of your guys's recommended. Not all of your guys's. Not all of you, but some of you. Peter, you know, you're a good guy. You know, Julian, you know. We got some people that, you know, we got some intellectuals. Yeah, thank you. We'll be signing off for tonight, guys. I'm trying to get some food into me. I'm going off just an energy drink, so thanks, guys. And that's it for tonight. Peace.